Well, good morning. The Classic TT presented by Bennett's is about memories of yesteryear. Today will be about making new memories. I was sitting at Braddon Bridge, the Gooseneck, wherever, when I witnessed the Bennett Senior Classic TT or the Dunlop Lightweight Classic TT. I was at Glen Helen or Craignabar to see Steve Hislop's commemorative lap. Well, after a week of wretched practice and qualifying, all ahead of us today is set to take place in glorious sunshine, potentially one of the hottest days of the year. Perfect, just perfect. Welcome to the first race day at the 2019 Festival of Motorcycling. And we will detail the weather forecast. Well, I don't think we really do we? It's going to be hot, it's going to be sunny, and it's going to be absolutely glorious conditions around the 37 3/4 mile TT course. Let's give you the schedule, and roads now are closed around the TT mountain course. They closed at 11. At 11:30, we've got some qualifying and practice first of all. The first session over 2 laps is the Classic TT Superbike, Lightweight and MGP, Senior, Junior and Newcomers A. Then at 12:05, we've got the Classic TT Junior and the Manx Grand Prix Lightweight, Ultra Lightweight, Newcomers B and C, again over 2 laps. At 1:15, we've got the Bennett Senior Classic TT race. That's over 4 laps. Then at 3:30, something very special indeed. It is the Steve Hislop commemorative lap, and we're going to have 7 machines that are very much part of the Steve Hislop story on the start line. A little bit of background on each one, and they will then set off individually. Steve Hislop, of course, a fantastic man on the roads as well as the short circuits. And John McGuinness will be riding perhaps the most famous bike in relation to the TT in that stable, the White Charger, the famous Norton from the 1992 Senior, which that battle with Fogarty is remembered and voted for by fans as the best that they have witnessed around all the history of the TT. Then at 4:10, we have the Dunlop Lightweight Classic TT race over 4 laps. And then we're back to more practice and qualifying, because we have at 6:10, Classic Superbike and MGP Senior, Junior, Newcomers A qualifying, just the 1 lap this time. And that's followed at 6:25 by the Classic TT Junior and the Manx Grand Prix Lightweight, Ultra Lightweight, Newcomers B and C qualifying, again 1 lap. And all roads will be open by 7:30. Well, a detailed forecast, it is really just a few more words than what I said earlier. It's going to be hot, it's going to be sunny, it's going to be glorious. Today will be dry with prolonged spells of sunshine and a light to moderate east to southeasterly breeze. Feeling warm or very warm in the sunshine, with temperatures rising up to 22 Celsius for most places, but as high as 24 places sheltered from the breeze. So one of the warmest days of 2019 ahead. Staying dry this evening and tonight with clear spells before some low cloud and mist develops towards dawn tomorrow morning. Minimum temperature no lower than 14 Celsius. And dry, bright and warm for tomorrow and Monday with variable cloud, sunny spells and a light to moderate wind. Top temperature around 21 Celsius inland. So an absolutely barnstorming bank holiday weekend weather-wise ahead. Exactly what the organisers of the Festival of Motorcycling will have wished for. Well, we are going to take us through the 2 practice sessions. We'll be joining Chris Kinley and Chris Palmer shortly for that. But in the meantime, let's just get an update on conditions around the TT Mountain course. And the first commentary point away from the grandstand is out at Glen Helen on the western stretches, and in situ there, and hopefully describing dry roads. Dave Christian, good morning, sir.
Yes, good morning, Tim, and good morning, everybody who's listening around. You'll just have to excuse us out here. We've got a wasp in the commentary box somewhere, so if you hear a loud bang or a yelp, you know that we've either dealt with it or we haven't. Yeah, the road conditions absolutely brilliant from Ramsey out through to Glen Helen here. No problems at all anywhere. I look up at from Lozère Road and I could see the top of North Barrule quite clearly. And from Sulby, a glance up the valley showed both masts at the top of Snay Fell clearly visible. So they're both indicators for me that weather conditions are really, really good. There is a little bit of a breeze blowing. Came up along Cronkavody. You could just feel it starting to move the bike around a little bit, but I don't think that'll be too much of a problem for anybody. It's certainly not as windy as it was on Thursday night. And, well, I took the opportunity this morning to smell my way around the course. I came into Parliament Square and the first overriding smell with the visor up was bacon wafting out. I'm not sure where it was coming from, but it didn't half smell good. Moving along towards Kerramore and again through Bishop's Court, and you can smell the wild garlic that grows in abundance in those two areas, and interspersed with little puffs of two-stroke as a couple of the old smokers were going around as well. So lovely smells out there and about if you just take your time to take them all in. Obviously, by the time you get here, there'll be this overriding smell of verbal diarrhea coming out of this commentary box, but that's a different kettle of fish altogether. As I say, fantastic conditions everywhere from Ramsey all the way through to Glen Helen, and certainly a lot better than it was the last time I was here, which was Thursday night when we had drizzle and damp roads, and you could actually see the bikes leaving wet tyre tracks on the exit of the left-hander here at the Swiss Chalet in the car park here down at the bottom of Craig Willie's Hill. Fantastic day for racing, and what else have we got? We got my timing, unofficial timing. John Dogg provides that for me. John Marshall in there at Ballaugh Bridge, and I think I can probably officially report he wet the bed this morning because he was already there when I went through. I normally meet him on the road between Kirkmichael and Ballaugh, somewhere along that way, but firmly in position, as with all members of the Orange Army. Crowd starting to build up quite nicely, and with that, we'll go back to the grandstand.
Thank you very much, Dave Christian. I can tell you we've got a 15-minute delay to the start of proceedings here, so it will be now at 11:45 that we get those qualifying laps underway. That's because they've got a sweeper out dealing with some oil between Brandywell and Windy Corner, I think it was, that we heard the clerk of the course say. For some reason, instead of Windy Corner, I've written down Dave Christian. I don't know what that's about, but anyway, it's a 15-minute delay to proceedings, so 11:45 is when we'll see the first bikes depart the grandstand on their way around on a two-lap, we assume, still practice session. In the meantime, let's head up to the northernmost commentary point we have, and that is at the fabled Ramsey hairpin, and in there is the fabled Roy Moore. Good morning.
Yes, and good morning to everybody who's listening by various devices. We're led to believe a 72-year-old man has got to be keeping up with technology, but it's simply amazing that you can be talking at Ramsey hairpin, and let me tell you straight away, in brilliant sunshine, the sun is beaming down here at Ramsey, that you can be talking here, and certainly people will be listening to it all around the world. Whether they want to listen to it is another thing, but by the same token, we are in position. We've got a few extra people involved with us today, and certainly doing a little bit of filming. But there was an item on the Golden Oldies, I think, this morning by the Ramsey Lewis Trio. Well, we're the Ramsey Hairpin Trio. Matty Cunningham, who's doing the engineering, and Paddy or Pat O'Hanlon, who is doing the timekeeping in case that technology goes pear-shaped, and we've got to rely, as we have done for many, many years, on pen and pencil. Yes, we did see the sweeper going up, and took it straight away that it would possibly have been an oil leak or something. I think it was reported that there was one round the bungalow, and certainly there was another kind of strange place that it had been reported that the marshals at that particular point were requesting that something be dealt with. But then that's in the interests of safety. But unlike the previous times this week where we've been kind of waiting and no chance of the weather ever improving, certainly another kind of quarter of an hour delay today will not make any difference at all. It's interesting coming down the mountain because TT week we can't do that. We have got to go around the coast road because of the one-way system over the mountain. But Manx Grand Prix week we're allowed to come down the mountain. And I had never noticed, and they might only just be put up when the racing is on, the wind socks, which are on various places up the mountain mile. There's one at Brandywell, and certainly it's one definitely at Windy Corner, and they were quite calm today. The other night when we came down, it was kind of looking forecast for rain, but there was a lot of wind about as well, and they were kind of virtually flapping away. I thought initially they were for the helicopter to give them guidance where they were wanting to possibly land in the case of an incident. But I was led to believe after a trip round the paddock yesterday that they were requested by the riders just to give them an indication of what the wind conditions were like. And certainly, well, why is it called Windy Corner? The wind coming up that valley certainly causes a few problems, and those with memories will remember an incident with a helicopter not all that many years ago in that particular area. We've got good conditions, and Marshall just given us a wave there, so they're all in position. The regular crew that are always here at Ramsey, and certainly that is the case, and well on duty. We've got, Life in a Northern Town, I think, was another one that we've got. And we'll have the privilege later on in the lightweight race of seeing the Mayor of Ramsey giving us a wave, possibly as he comes through his constituency here in the north. And Andrew Cowie, who is out in the lightweight, and certainly we'll be looking out for him. We did notice on the way down that there was quite a few spectators who already, it was about an hour ago from this timing now, but certainly a lot of spectators in and around Signpost Corner. And the mind takes over. You've got to be concentrating on the road, so it shouldn't happen really. But we were thinking that's Martin Bullock's former mother there that used to live in that bungalow. And the sign on the gate says it all. Quite happy to spectate here at Signpost Corner. Take your pick off your seat and making a donation to the Manx Grand Prix Helicopter Fund, which is always very much appreciated. But then my mind went again into gear, not too much, I hasten to add, coming over, that it would be unheard of. When the Tommy Clucas Tommy Club was formed, it was for riders who had circulated in the Manx Grand Prix at over 120 miles per hour. And would you believe, even with the poor conditions that we've had this week, we already, in theory, have a member of the Tommy Club. Certainly his name just doesn't spring to mind, but I'm sure somebody will pick up on it, and certainly that will be the case. The Steve Hislop lap, that's again and again we were kind of reminiscing there as we go past the Guthrie Memorial. We always remember Bob McIntyre saying that he always acknowledged Jimmy Guthrie as he was going past there with a keep me safe. And certainly Steve Hislop, looking out over his hometown, the same as Jimmy Guthrie, would be thinking possibly the same way. There'll be a few memories in that as well, and there'll be a few memories throughout the day and throughout the week here from Ramsey. But for the moment, from a still very, very sunny Ramsey, it's Roy Moore returning you to the grandstand.
Thank you, Roy. And just a reminder, we do have a 15-minute delay. So before we go down to Chris Kinley and Chris Palmer for the first of these practice qualifying sessions, let's give you the starting information. In fact, before we do that, let's talk to the clerk of the course, Gary Thompson, and he'll be able to just give us a little bit more information on the 15-minute delay. We were frantically writing it down, and I wrote Brandywell to Dave Christian for some reason, but it's to Windy Corner. Is that right?
It is, Tim. Yeah, we've had reports from the marshals upon the mountain section from Brandywell down to Windy that a motorcyclist had dropped oil between Brandy and Windy. He was pulled over at the Windy, and then asked to stop there. And then when the marshals were getting themselves sorted out, this motorcyclist then decided to go rogue and carry on, so there was more oil dropped, which we're now checking out. It's frustrating, to be honest. We've got fantastic conditions all around the course, but the actions of this one individual has just wrecked the start of the practice. We're going to get away as soon as we can. It's looking at a 15-minute delay at the moment, but that could increase depending how bad the oil is. But obviously we're doing what we can.
we had some incidents at the TT of people coming onto the course and not listening to the marshals, and we had an incident of a car driving onto closed roads earlier on during the qualifying week, and now this individual who's ignored again marshals' advice. It's a bit worrying.
It's frustrating. I mean, everybody's doing what they can to get today. Obviously, today it's the best weather we've had the whole week. The whole week so far. And the actions of this one individual has just jeopardised the start. And people are hanging around. People want to get going. But it's easy to say it is what it is, but it's bloody frustrating.
Yep, well, we can hear the frustration in your voice, and there was a little bit of concern beforehand because we did hear emergency vehicles responding to an incident going past the grandstand. I think we had a minor RTC at the Crosby Crossroads just about half an hour or so before, which they cleared away, luckily.
That's right, that was all cleared away, and fair play to the marshals, everybody involved at Crosby. That was all cleared away and was good to go. But we've got to obviously get a sweeper on the course for the oil at Brandywell, and the sweepers aren't the fastest vehicles in the world, so it is going to obviously take a bit of time just to get from Leaney Road, Ramsey to the oil. So
and then dealing with that as well, it means that the condition of the road isn't as perfect as we want it to for the qualifying and racing.
Yeah, I mean there will be lack of adhesion flags shown on the first lap, and they're up there doing what they can, but. For anybody on, obviously this is the Festival of Motorcycling, to all the spectators out there, if there is a concern with your bike, for God's sake, just pull off the road. We do not need this before the start of a practice session. We've got competitors going out there at 100 odd mile per hour. Just show some consideration for the practice and the racing.
Gary Thompson, clerk of the course, thank you for joining us, and I think you can quite clearly hear and the laying down of the law as well from the clerk of the course there, the frustration in his voice as well. And let's just emphasise, if the marshals ask you to do something, listen to them and act. Don't argue with them. They are there for your safety, as well as the safety of the riders and the competitors and officials as well taking part. So please do listen to the marshals. We have enough trouble with this Festival of Motorcycling, getting enough numbers of marshals, and you wonder why, when you hear all this, why they are out there. But we thank them for it, and all the volunteers associated with motorcycling events on the island. Well, we will now, because we've got this window, tee up the Bennett Senior Classic TT, the first of our races, and get all the stats out there, the starting list, and changes to the race guide. Now, that's the Classic TT smaller booklet, the race guide with all the start lists in, pages 9, 10 and 11. And I can tell you that starting at 2, with no Dean Harrison, it will be Stefano Benetti on a Pattern. Starting at 16 now is Mark Perslow on a Honda. Starting at 17 is Chris McGahn on a Honda. Starting at 19 is Tom Whedon on a Norton. And starting at 20 is Ben Ray on a Honda. Not riding then from the originally scripted top 20 are Dean Harrison, David Johnson, Horst Seiger, Derek Shields, Joey Thompson. In fact, no, Derek Shields is riding, Joey Thompson and Rob Hodson. So there are non-starters at 3, 6, 15, 21, 26, 28, 29, 30, 33, 37, 39, 46, 47, 48, 50, 61, 64, 66, 69, 71 and 72. So outside of the top 20, those are seeded positions. In start position 21 will be number 23, Michael Sweeney. Start position 22 will be bike number 31, Heffin Owen. Start position 23 is bike number 41, Keith Clark. Start position 24 is number 36, Meredith Owen. Start position 25 is bike number 25, Mark Parrott. Start position 26 is number 35, David Madston Migdal. Start position 27 will be number 38, Will Loader. Start position 28 is number 40, John Barton. Start position 29 is number 63, Russell Robury. Start position 30 is number 34, Dave Matravers. Start position 31 is number 42, Alec Whitwell. Start position 32 is number 55, Colin Stockdale. Start position 33 is number 65, Ian Bainbridge. Start position 34 is number 58, Arthur Browning. Start position at 35 is number 57, Edward Poole. Start position 36 is number 67, Grant Sellers. Start position 37 is number 70, Tony Tuttle. Start position 38 is number 73, and that is Richard Stott. Start position 39 is number 75, Gary Freeman. Start position number 40 is number 60, Leon Murphy. Start position 41 is number 53, Paul Williams. And the final starter at start position 42 will be number 43, Richard Lambourne. And he is out there on the Norton. Just looking at the practice qualifying, John McGuinness on the pattern was quickest last night at 110.135. Stefano Bonetti second quickest at 108.940, both on patterns. And third quickest, number 8, Jamie Coward on the Norton at 107.164 miles per hour. Senior Classic, well, it was originally won in the inaugural event in 2013 by Ollie Linsdell. Ian Locker won in 2014. It was Dean Harrison, and we send our best wishes to Dean Harrison after his little incident yesterday out there at Belig, and we wish him well up there in hospital. He was the winner in 2015. 2016, it was John McGuinness, the winner. Josh Brooks won in 2017, and it was John McGuinness, the first repeat winner in the Senior Classic TT last year, 2018. Well, I'll bring Chris Boyd, who's with me here in the commentary box in at this juncture, just to really digest what Gary Thompson, the clerk of the course, was saying. Now, he's normally a very affable bloke. I have never heard him like that before, that frustrated as he was then.
That was pure frustration, it has to be said. Everything else is good to go today. We've got the best weather conditions we've had all year, probably, on the TT course, to be honest, today. And we're held up by somebody who's ignored a marshal's instruction and proceeded. Those of us that are around motorsport the whole time know that marshal's instructions, and especially when something has come from race control, or, you know, you obey that. It doesn't matter whether you're a newcomer spectator to the sport or whether you've been around the sport for a long time. What the marshals say is what matters. Please obey the marshals, because they are looking after the broader interests of the entire event, not your specific little interest. And unfortunately, your little interest is not outweighed, is totally outweighed rather, by the broader interest of the bigger event. And we're now losing time, and it sounds like at the best, it'll be 15 minutes. It sounds like it might be a little bit longer than that, unfortunately.
Well, there was a clear hint it could be longer than 15 minutes, especially as we've got to get the sweeper all the way from Ramsey.
And you just can't take a risk. With oil down, maybe on the line and you can't even see it, and you can't run the risk of running a bike at these speeds over a road with oil on it at all.
Looking back then at the qualifying, and John McGuinness only did that one lap yesterday before he went off to do his chat show and the VIP hospitality with James Whitton. I'm sure that was a good night had by one and all that attended. But my word, did he put a marker down?
He absolutely did, given how little practice they've had. To be up over the 110 mile an hour mark, 110.135, really, really impressive. And when you read out that list of past winners, you didn't read out the marks. When Ollie Linsdell won in 2013, it was on a pattern. When Ian Locker won in 2014, it was on a pattern. In 2015, Dean Howison booked the trend on the MV Augusta. 2016, John McGuinness pattern. 2017, Josh Brooks pattern. 2018, John McGuinness pattern. It's fairly obvious which bike you want to be on for this race.
Yeah, just looking at the manufacturers that could be there, clearly the pattern is the favoured one. The MV Augusta has a win as well. You could have AJSs in there, BSAs, Hondas, Matchless, Nortons, Royal Enfields, Velocets and Vincents. But that trick bit of Italian wizardry, the pattern, just seems to be the ticket to ride on this race.
It does. It just seems to have the slight advantage, particularly on the TT course where you're carrying all that high speed and you can just get into a flow with it. And obviously, we'll be interested to see where Stefano Bonetti comes into the picture now, an international road race winner after the Northwest 200 earlier this year. So his confidence is as high as it's ever been. He's on the right bike. His practice lap is, 108.94, only 13 seconds slower than John McGuinness. And you factor in attrition and all sorts of bits and pieces, and you were talking about looking for other marks. Jamie Coward on the Craven Norton, he's third fastest on the practice leaderboard, and you wouldn't rule him out.
Absolutely not. A lot can happen. It's 4 laps, 150.92 miles, and we've already seen several breakdowns in the qualifying sessions that we've had, which haven't been too many. But this mountain course, 4 laps, is really going to test the machinery and rider. That's
the point that was being made on Attention Paddock this morning. Even when these bikes are raced, which is seldom, no way would they do a race that is nearly an hour and a half long. On a short circuit in the UK, they might do sort of 20-minute race or so. To have to run these machines at these speeds for almost an hour and a half is the ultimate attrition finder, and that's why the mountain course is the ultimate challenge.
Lap record is John McGuinness at 113.342 miles per hour, and the race record is at 1 hour 21 minutes 10.189 seconds. We've got the yellow background on the numbering on the bikes, black numbers against that yellow background. It's McGuinness's to win or lose, isn't it?
Yeah.
Was that the feeling?
That was absolutely
show?
The feeling we had. Phil Wayne, John Barton, Milky Quayle and Kiefer Moore all in, and the feeling was, yes, it was John McGuinness's to lose, absolutely. And it's part of John's comeback last year when he made his comeback to racing at the mountain course. It was all part of the confidence build. That confidence build into TT 2019 didn't really pay off. He didn't have a great TT here. Again, wrecked a little bit by the weather, and he couldn't get the laps in that he needed to get the build up. So coming back to the classic TT, it's almost a rebuild confidence again, and then see where you go in 2020.
Okay, Chris Boyd, many thanks indeed. We'll be talking to him. He's going to be keeping an eye on the stats and the lap speeds and what sectors people are building in, and look a little bit lower down the order as to a bike to watch that may be coming up to challenge for the podium. Well, we heard Gary Thompson say it was at least a 15-minute delay, and we're around 7 minutes away from the initially projected start of 11:45, but we'll go down to Chris Kinley. It looks fairly quiet, it has to be said, out there, considering we're 7 minutes away from potentially a bike going down Glencrutchy Road. Would you agree?
Yeah, it's quiet up on the road where all the bikes are being brought up, the ones who have chosen to go out in this qualifying session. But down in the Parc Fermé area, pretty busy, and yeah, a bit of a shame, bit of a delay, but these things happen. We're kind of a bit used to it for these couple of weeks. Joining us up on the grid is Chris Palmer. Chris, good. Is it still morning? It is, yeah. It's 22 minutes away from 12. Chris, morning. All right. Well, I believe there's another 10-minute delay we're just hearing, so you can add another 10 minutes onto that. It's a bit of a shame. We've got the sweeper up out on track at the moment. They're kind of get that all cleared up, and then obviously it's going to be clearing. So yeah, another 10-minute delay, Chris.
Yeah, it's nice to stand here in sunshine, nice and warm,
sunglasses on,
t-shirts. So yeah, it's far better than we had earlier in the week.
You having a little wander around, speaking to a couple of people before. Just been speaking to Gary Johnson. Obviously, he had big problems before the start of the practice yesterday with that little oil leak that he had, but he got out in the evening. Yeah. And the big screen. Tell us a story on the big screen.
Well, if you see the number 7 big Suzuki going by, you'll see that it's got like a screen on top of the screen.
That's a super high TT screen,
massive,
isn't it?
Yeah. It's a huge screen. And I was just interested to talk to him and ask him why he had that. And basically what it is, his footrests were quite high, his seat was quite high, and that throws his body right forward.
He's a big lad, isn't he?
He is quite a big lad. And what it is, when you've got the chin on the tank, he couldn't actually see forward, so he has to sit up slightly to sort of see through the screen. So, but he's actually put different footrest mountings on now, lowered them down, lowered the seat to make him more comfortable, but he's just left the big screen on, which, to be fair, it lets the wind go right over the top of you. It makes it a much more comfortable ride. We've seen Connor Cummins ride in the past with a similar sort of screen, but it will create more drag, but these bikes are so big and powerful anyway, I don't think it'll affect them.
And he's got a good set of shoulders to try and hide in there as well.
He's a big
John
lad.
McGuinness mentioned that with the pattern, didn't he, about they just widened the fairing a little bit on the bracket.
They did. And to be honest, I think people don't realise just how much the wind does affect you. If you stick your head up above the screen, obviously the helmet catches the wind and it really strains your neck, and your neck muscles take quite a long time to recover. So if that happens early in the week, you've got a really sore and painful and weak neck for the whole fortnight.
Would you do any training as a TT Superbike rider? Would you do any training to strengthen the muscles in your neck?
Do you know what?
Or is bike fitness the best?
Yeah, no, bike fitness is the best. You could do a bit of training, I suppose, but to be honest, if you know yourself, if you stick your head above the screen with a helmet on at 170 miles an hour, there's no amount of training would prepare you for that. So the best thing to do is just put a slightly taller screen on right from the word go, and it just protects you from the wind.
Your view on no Dean Harrison now?
No, that's a great shame.
For the events, isn't it? And for everybody who's come over.
But, do you know, exactly. But, do you know what? From a rider's perspective, the other guys obviously will want to wish him well, but they'll be rubbing their hands. It's one man out the way that they don't have to worry about. And that's the way a rider has to think.
The classic TT Superbikes now, well, I'm just looking at Michael Dunlop there at number 6, is going to be more open now, because he was doing 124.5, so you know Michael Dunlop can do that sort of pace, and he can do other riders can do that sort of pace, but now Michael's struggling with injury. It's going to make a really I know it's a terrible thing to say, but it's going to tighten the race up, isn't it?
It does, it really does, you know, and you know, sometimes, you know, we've already said that a rider can be a sort of a selfish, you know, we are, you know, I mean, riders, you just want to win, and if, if Dean's out, we can't do anything about that. But, you know, the other lads will be thinking, do you know what? That's one place up I'm going to be. And, you know, they'll have a bit of a plan, and it'll make them a little bit more hungry, and, you know, they'll push a little bit harder. So, yeah, you know, that is the nature of the beast.
Perfect conditions this morning and through this afternoon. Going to be a long day. We've obviously got the practice sessions, we've got the parades, we've got all the reenactments, and we've got everything going on here today. A busy old day. So yeah, it is going to be good. And what about the racing a little bit later on? Are you looking forward to that? Senior Classics?
Yeah, you know, that's always a good race as well. Obviously, you know, we know the patterns. You know, it's no good messing about. The patterns are head and shoulders basically better than a lot of the stuff out there. So, you know, but they've got to keep going. You know, these are modern bike riders riding. You know, the
fickle machinery.
Yeah, they're a little bit more delicate, and you've got to sort of be mechanically sympathetic with them and nurse them round a little bit. So, yeah, anything can happen. We've seen even in practice, you know, that they do fall by the wayside with bits dropping off them and vibrating loose and stuff, and oil leaks and whatever. You know, we saw Michael Rutter a couple of years back, or last year even, did he get a puncture when he came into the pits with a flat tyre?
Right,
I mean, anything can happen.
I think yesterday, his gear change fell off, didn't it?
It did.
He had to stop at Governor's Bridge and get back.
You know, and this is exactly what happens with these bikes. They do vibrate more than a modern bike, and things just come loose and drop off, unfortunately.
Now, you've been helping some newcomers out and some experienced boys this week on suspension. How did they get on yesterday after the second session?
All good. James Reevely, that lives just 3 miles away from where I used to live.
But he's not from Carlisle,
He's not.
is he?
No, it's near Carlisle, near.
Okay, just watching
the Marshall coming in there. No, he was very pleased, very happy with what we did to his bike. He went out yesterday, did 110 and 111. He seemed a little bit disappointed because he didn't go any faster on the new bike than he did on his old bike. But as I said, it's got the same horsepower, so why should it go any faster, you know?
Just because it's new.
Exactly, but, you know, but as a rider, that's what you do. You beat yourself up, you expect more from yourself, and that's what makes you go faster next time, if that makes sense to you.
Spoke to Dave O'Johnson. We did in between the afternoon practice and the evening practice yesterday, and he went out last night and did 100, I think he said 119, but he said it was only running on 3 cylinders.
Yeah, you know, it's
So
again.
there's more to come from it when it gets out.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and this is what practice is all about. You know, sometimes this is what practice is for. You know, you have your little niggling problems and you work through your issues and hopefully come race day, that's when everything is as good as it can possibly be.
You need more practice. You always need more practice. If we'd have had a full week of practice, you'd still be asking for more practice as a rider, wouldn't you?
Well, you say that, but sometimes,
Yeah.
sometimes you can get to a point where you know you're not going to go any faster. The bike's as good as it can be, and you just park it up. You know, you might go out and stretch a new chain in. You might go out and bed some brake pads in. You might put your race tyres on. We used to just set off and go to Ballacrane, pull it in, and then get picked up at Ballacrane. That basically bedded a set of pads in.
Yeah.
It's stretched a race chain, a new chain.
And no more miles
And
on the
no
engine.
more miles on the engine, because these things have a limited mileage. Like we said, they can be a little bit delicate.
So the 500 you used to ride, and how often would that be stripped down? We know the 250s have to be done. You were mentioning that yesterday about the fact that they're going to check the detonation
Yeah.
and check everything.
Yeah.
So the 500 class is going to be racing later on, the senior classic
Yeah.
bikes. How often are they needed to be stripped? Here's different. Like Chris Boyd just made the point there. They're
Yeah.
not going to be doing an hour and a bit races. They're just going to do 20 laps around Donington Park.
Yeah. But I mean, we'd have a practice engine and a race engine, you know. So we'd be going out on a 500 when I was riding for the Rippleland guys, and we'd have a practice engine which would go out and we'd just batter it to death and get as many miles out as you can. You know what you do? You know, 'cause it is hard on them, you know. And basically, then with the race engine would go in. And you might do one practice session on the race engine just to make sure everything's perfect. Or, like I said, you'd go to Ballacrane and pull it in. And that's it then. That's it, fit, ready to race.
The internals on them, would they get strengthened inside in various places
Yes.
compared to what they were?
Yeah, titanium cranks and all
Yeah.
sorts. They've got all sorts of stuff in them. Like they are not. A lot of these bikes are replicas as well. They're virtually all brand new, and they cost a fortune. You know, you're looking at 36,000 quid for a Norton or a Matchless. Do you know what I mean? And I think John said the patterns the other day are 70 or 80,000 pound. Well, you know, and I think the MVs. are they not something like £250,000?
Something daft
I mean,
like
you know,
that, isn't it? Yeah.
we're talking big money these days.
And so the 350 as well, the 350 Junior Classic, obviously going to be later on in the week. That is the same situation where did you want me getting stripped down as much as the
No.
250s would be?
No, because they're a four-stroke. It's only the two strokes that get the cylinders taken off after every time they come in, usually. Again, that would probably be a practice engine and a race engine. So obviously not everybody has that facility, but you know, or maybe they would go out and just do less laps. And just to save the motor for the race.
Would you get your hands dirty when it comes to doing all fiddling around?
Only if I had to, Chris.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, okay. But you would, when you run your own team, you ran
Yeah, of course, yeah.
your 250s and 125s.
Yeah. But my mechanics generally didn't want me to touch them. They just
Clarkey and...
Yeah, and Sean Oates.
Good morning to David Clark and Sean,
Dave
by the way,
Clark and
boys.
Sean Oates. Great guys. But,
Confirmed, Chris,
yeah.
11:55 start, so that is about 8 minutes away from start. So that's good news. So 11:55 start. So well done to the guys from the department of whatever it's called nowadays up there, fixing the road, shall we say, Chris? Yeah. So it is good. Like you've mentioned this before, you know. And the reason why I'm asking these questions, you know, because I know I've asked you a similar question before, is, you know, as a rider, a lot of riders just get up, turn on, get on the bike and go. But you took an interest in the engineering side too, because you're a car mechanic by trade.
Yeah, that's right. You know, obviously, but when you ride as well, you can almost feel what's going on. And we've spoke about this in the past. Motorcycle racing is all about feel, and you know, you can almost feel what's happening with the motorbike and even what's underneath you and what's inside the motor. You can hear everything. You can feel everything. So yeah, it's really important to understand what's going on underneath you.
You were just talking to Gary Johnson there before. The Suzuki Vintage Part the big GSXR is there, and look how high his seat is. Look at the seat foam, and I'll try and describe it to you. His is about 2.5 inches thick, right up off the base of the seat. And Michael Dunlop's is probably only an inch, so I wonder why he has it so high. Is it because he's got longer legs?
It's possible, but maybe he's had an injury in the past, maybe his knee doesn't bend, or maybe it's uncomfortable for him. And this is back to that feeling thing, isn't it? It's making the bike feel comfortable and feel like you can ride it properly and get the best out of it. So, yeah, this is why we see virtually two identical bikes, completely different.
Yeah, looking completely different, aren't they? But they do look very, very smart. And if you do get a chance to come up with a little wander around and look at the bikes, you can come up here to the Festival of Motorcycling Paddock and have a look at the classic TT bikes, all the Manx Grand Prix guys who are going to be here. So there's a lot of machinery around here.
There is.
And if you are tomorrow going up to the Festival of Derby, which I hope a lot of people are going to do, the forecast looks absolutely stunning. One of the best they'll have had up there. So we'll be up there broadcasting from 11 o'clock through till around about 2. Going to be up there having a good look round. And I think we mentioned this yesterday, that if you've never been up there, get there early. Gates open at 10. Get yourself there. Everything's going to be on track, at 10 o'clock. All right. The bikes that you're going to see up there will be bikes you won't have seen for a while, or you will have never seen before.
Yeah.
Have you been up?
I have been up.
Have you done the parade before?
Do you know what? I'm not sure if I think
I
have done
I think early years.
I think I rode Rob Brew's 250 TZ round there, didn't I once? But the bikes that you see up there, it's just a joy to go and see them. You know, one of my favourites that goes up there is one of the 750 triple air cooled Kawasaki. Honestly, there's one goes up there that's like
KH1, is it? Something like that.
Are they not H2 or something?
Yeah.
But the 750. It's like a black and purple one. It's up there most years, and it's absolutely stunning. I just drool over it every time.
Didn't you say you've seen one somebody's converted a triple to a 4?
That was in the paddock down here the other night, and that was one of what you'd call the old GT 750 kettle Suzuki's. Yeah. But it's actually had another cylinder grafted onto it, so it's on the side panel.
Grafted on.
Well, yeah, but it's got GT 1000 on it, which obviously is with a 4-cylinder, 4 expansion chamber exhausts on it. Looked superb, and obviously the engine, whoever's built it, what a feat of engineering. It's gorgeous.
5-minute board is just going up, so Milky Quail is bringing that board across, and I'm going to have a word with Davy Johnson, because he was telling us a little bit earlier on about the fact it was only running on 3 cylinders. Why was it only running on 3, David Johnson? And good morning in the sunshine.
Yeah, that's a freaking awesome day, isn't it? It's,
your Australian friends have brought it.
Yeah, there's a load of them up at the Craig there, so slip, slop, slap, guys. Chuck some sun cream on, don't get bald head and get all sunburned like you guys, like you, Chris. But yeah, it's we're hoping we've sorted it. It's been on the dyno all morning. The guys have been working so hard and they're ripping their hair out. It's trying to get it right, and fingers crossed we'll have it right. It's not running right all week, and we're still doing sort of decent time, which is unbelievable. So it just tells me that the bike's going to be amazing once it's done.
Is it doing it all the time, or just at certain times on the lap?
It's intermittently, so some are worse than others. The first lap that I did on it yesterday, the first half was mint, and then the second half it just ran on 3 the whole lap, and it was still 119. So it was there's so much more to come on this bike. Alistair Cowan's built an absolute rocket, but just it's brand new carbies, and they seem to be not right. So that's what we've found. We thought it was electrical. Now we've worked out it's fuel with the carby not being right, which is unusual because they're brand new carbies.
All right, Dave Johnson, thank you.
Cheers, mate, thanks.
Buddy, David Johnson off at number 9. Interesting there, isn't it, where, there's another quandary for the team to think about. Yeah. They think, it's only running on 3. It's got to be electrical. There's got to be something in the pickup. It's got to be something like that.
Yeah.
But it's carburetors, brand new set of ZXR carburetors. You wouldn't want to know how much they cost.
Well, exactly, but this is why sometimes the shortage of practice goes against you, because you just don't get the time to get out there and test it. Maybe they've possibly been on the dyno or whatever.
Right on all morning.
Yeah, so obviously that is a great facility to have for the guys to test.
But the dyno, that doesn't... Okay, you can run the bike on the dyno to test it. It takes the horsepower, blah, blah, blah. When you get out on track, you've got the hot air from the engine, you've got the wind blowing through, you've got the vibration, you've got everything, haven't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes when you go over a rise, if the float heights aren't right, you get a glug of fuel, and that makes them cough and splutter as well. So, it could be absolutely anything, but... let's hope he's got it fixed anyway.
Michael Dunlop is here, he's ready to go. Paul Jordan also here, ready to go too, looking smart and groovy as always. And there's Horse Sagi going well in practice. My rear warning lights has been turned on, so
I can see it. I'm following you.
You are, mate. I've got factor 50 on the head, mate.
I've got nothing on. I'm going to be red.
You are going to be red.
Excellent weather conditions on the board all round the course. Damp patches at Ramsey Hairpin, Hilbury, the Nook, Governor's Dip, lack of adhesion at 32nd milestone. So that'll be that oil that they were cleaning up earlier.
Okay, brilliant stuff. All right, thank you very much for that, Chris. Well read, by the way. Yeah,
thank you.
Those electrocution lessons that you've been having are good. They really are.
Yeah.
So the
I've had a few zaps.
Yeah, well, you have. Number 20 on the TC Racing bike. That's Julian Trummer. He's about to come to the line. with number 16, Phil Crow. He's been going well too, getting into the near enough to the 120s on that bike. Big lad on that bike, and I say he's a big lad, but he's lost such a load of weight over the past couple of years, and he's really worked hard, and his results really well at the Ulster Grand Prix and other events. He's been really going really well. Coming up to 11:53 and a half, so at the front there we've got the 750 Kawasaki, which seems to be the kind of weapon of choice, but then you've got the big Suzukis, and they are a handful. Explain a bit about, well, we've got about 30 seconds, explain a bit about the Suzuki that Phil Crow's on, XR69.
Yeah, XR69, obviously from an era slightly before the ZXRs, bigger, heavier, but more powerful as well.
On a 1300, well, it says 1200 motor, or 1100.
It could be a Bandit engine, it could be a modified, whatever. You know, we're not quite sure what's in them these days, are we? But you know, 160, 170 horsepower for sure. That's why, you know, when we hear Michael Dunlop's bike rev up and go off the line, we can feel it through our feet, can't we? It literally shakes the ground. Yeah. But an awesome, beautiful looking motorbike, aren't they?
Just seen the number 17 of Danny Webb getting rolled into position at a 500 RG Team Class Suzuki machine. Yeah. Let's hear how crisp that is going to sound in this hotter air.
They will have jetted it down for sure. Yeah, definitely. It sounded crisper when it went out last night from the dinner time session. So it's I can tell that they've jetted it down because it's crisper and nicer and cleaner.
20 seconds to go, in fact less than that now, 15 seconds to go. A delayed start to the Saturday morning stroke afternoon stroke evening session here at the Festival of Motorcycling. The 10 seconds or 2 5s is 10. The shoulders are being grabbed by the starter man, Mr. Kermode. 16 and 20, Phil Crow and Julian Trummer away.
Number 3, Paul Jordan on the 750 Kawasaki lines up alongside Dave O'Johnson, again on another 750 Kawasaki. Let's hope his carburetors are sorted.
7 and 13, Gary Johnson on the Team York Suzuki, and number 13, of course, that is Sam West, still a bit beaten up after being a bit of a tip-off at the Ulster Grand Prix.
Rob Hodson, number 18, on another 750 Kawasaki, lines up against Horst Seiger again on the Kawasaki ZXR.
Yeah, the two teammates heading off together, Greenall. Let's look at number 12 next then. Craig Neve is out, and number 19 is a change of pilot. It's not Mikey Evans, it's Joey Thompson on number 19, the Wilcox Consulting 750 Kawasaki after
number 6, the slightly battered Michael Dunlop on the big Suzuki, lines up alongside number 11, Mikko Sweeney.
Number 3, Ian Locker on the lightweight 250 delay law bike with number 17. That is, of course, let's listen to this, Danny Webb 500. Number 13 is Lee Johnson, who we just spoke to. Here's another one of those photographic opportunities with number 8, Jamie Coward, both away.
Number 1, Davey Todd on the little 250, lines up alongside Gary Vines, number 7, on a Yamaha 250.
Yeah, green plates with the white numbers. Into the Manx Grand Prix boys now. David McConaughey's off there, who you've been speaking to him before. Number 17 on the Junior Manx. And number 2, of course, wow, that sounds pretty good. That's Stevie Parsons going well in practice.
Number 12, green plates, is Phil Harvey on a 250 Laylaw Yamaha.
And number 8 next to him is Davey Butler, went well on the Super Twin yesterday. Sticking with the Junior Manx Grand Prix bikes now, number 16, that is Andy Fisher on the R6, and number 7 on the GSX-R 600, Stephen Smith. 2 more Manx Grand Prix bikes now, the black plates with the white numbers, that's Junior Manx Grand Prix. Stevie Proctor's off at number 1, and Andy Farrell from the Skerries on the ZX6R, he's away.
Number 10, Dan Sale on a stunning 250 Honda.
And number 11, Bradley Vickers. Brad from Tad, as he's called, he's away on the Honda CBR 600 for Robbie Sylvester Jr. Manx Grand Prix bike. 5 and 10. 5 is Royce Rowe on the Triumph for number 10. Seen a great picture of him going over the Balaf Bridge yesterday. Nathan Harrison from Onken on the CBR 600 Honda, the Jackson Brothers bike that he's got. 9. Francesco Coringa, and 19, that's Michael Rees, the Welshman, again both on the Manx bikes. 106 is about to leave us now, and that is on the Senior Manx Grand Prix. This is going to confuse you, that's Danny Ingham, and 113 was Damien Horan, I think, yeah, it was, yeah. Number 113, yeah, 113 it is, yeah, that's what I was looking at there. It's Mark Colvin, he's away, 21 and 15. 15 is Chris Cook, and 21 is Ryan Maher from Swadlin Bar. Here's your lovely Northern Palmy.
It is. Number 37, Richard Wilson on the Rotary North, which sounds fantastic. Alongside it, number 43, Alan Brody on the 750 Suzuki.
Oh, when it clears, it's lovely. 31 is next on the Junior Manx Grand Prix. 31 is Chris Sabora.
And 35, Josh Daly on the lovely 750 Yamaha alongside him. We've got 25. 25 is Forrest Dunn, 750 Kawasaki.
And number 26, Gaz Evans from Pontefract. Gaz is away on his CBR 600 in the Junior Manx Grand Prix practice. 23 is Adrian Hartog from Boston on a ZX6R Kawasaki Junior Manx bike.
And 34, Mike Booth, 750 Kawasaki.
Number 28 in the Junior Manx again is Sean Evans from Annesley Woodhouse.
And number 4, Michael Rutter there, got a new screen on. The bike fell over in the paddock earlier and they put a new screen on it.
Leon Murphy from Coopermer in Suzuki GSX-R 600 Junior Manx.
And 31, Dave Houston, 750 Kawasaki goes alongside him.
2 more black-plated white numbered machines. Number 30, David Quine, that's a local boy, he's from Glenvine. And 32 is Teddy Bresson, French rider.
Go on, Darren Cooper, 48, 750 Yamaha.
And 39, that's Richie Stubbs from Stone on a YZF R6 Junior Manx Grand Prix.
Charles Reese Hardesty, Green Plains on his 250 Yamaha.
And number 47 next to him is Nigel Ray, he's from Clitheroe on his GSX-R 600. 2 more Junior Manx bikes now, that's 44. 44 is Renzo van der Donk, and 37 alongside him, Rad Hughes from Doncaster. And 41 and 29, 2 Manx Grand Prix bikes. Stuart McCann's the first one, 41 and 29 there, that's Stephen Horn. Let's get over to Glen Helen, Dave Christian.
Yes, welcome back, Chris. And the first couple of bikes just through now, Dave O'Johnson and Phil Crow, both swept through here on their opening lap of this qualifying session. Next man interview tips that into the left-hander, that's Gary Johnson. Gary Johnson safely through here. 2 more sweep out of Glen Helen 2. Little flick to the right, down the box, into the left-hander. 13 and 1, Sam West and Horst Seiger. Again, both safely through here. And Rob Hodgson through as well, number 18. All on the Superbike Classics. 12 and 6 together on the road. Craig Neve and Michael Dunlop. Dunlop looks to have the quickest time of the sector so far. Was Joey Thompson through there, 19, and 11 comes through now, Nico Sweeney. So Dunlop, Johnson, Crow, Gary Johnson, Horst Seiger, Craig Neve, Michael Sweeney, Rob Hodgson, Joey Thompson, and Sam West, the first 10 bikes of this qualifying session through here at Glen Helen. And they'll be making their way along Cronkervoddy for that sweep in down around the 11th milestone and powering on towards Hanley's Corner. 2 more now sweep out of the long left-hander. 17 and 3, Danny Webb and Ian Locker. And Locker, the first of the 2 strokes to come through here this afternoon, or this morning even, I can't remember what it is. That's Stephen Parsons through now at the Manx Grand Prix bike. Jamie Coward, Lee Johnston, as they come through quick and fast. Jamie Coward, Lee Johnson and Davey Todd all through here as well. And David McConaughey sneaked in through there under the radar while I wasn't watching. One man pulls in though, it's Gary Vines. Gary Vines pulls in, he's perfectly okay, just looking to stop, make some adjustments perhaps. 16 Andrew Fisher, and 16 Andrew Fisher through another Manx Grand Prix bike, and Dave Butler as well, number 8. That's 3 on the Manx Grand Prix, Andrew Farrell. And another Grand Prix bike sneak through there. Stephen Proctor, I think that was, number 12 comes through. That is 12. That would be, that was one of the 2 strokes. Can't remember who that was. Just off the bottom of my screen. Phil Harvey. And Daniel Sale through now as well. He's safely through at his opening qualifying lap. And Royce Rowe as well, as the Manx Grand Prix bike now starts to come through. Francisco Coringa as well through here on his opening lap. And 2 more, 106 and 118. 106 Daniel Ingham, 118 Damien Horan. 19 there as well on the road, Michael Rees. Next man down the box into that left-hander, that is number 12, that's Darryl Tweed. And he makes his climb up. Looks like no joy though for Gary Vines. No sign of that machine firing up. He's not having a go at getting it started just yet. But, just having a little discussion with the marshals. Ryan Marr comes through and Mark Colvin. First man on the road now, Phil Crow, number 16, has made it to the left bridge, closely followed by Davo Johnson. Two more through there. 15 is at the back of that bunch. Brad Vickers was that perhaps? Didn't quite catch the number. David Johnson and Phil Crow now at the left, so they'll be ripping their way along towards Ramsey Hairpin very shortly. And no sign of Vines. The quickest time of the sector so far, 4 minutes 33 from the grandstand here at Glen Helen. That's 4:33, and that was from Michael Dunlop. Michael Rutter just swings through here now as well. A bit of a late start for Rutter. He's down in amongst the traffic, but I don't think that'll bother him too much. The first 7 bikes down through the left bridge. And Gary Vines here still making adjustments to that bike. Hopefully he'll get going very shortly, but we have to get going right now. Back to you at the grandstand.
Thank you, Dave Christian out there at Glen Helen. Bring Chris Boyd in, who's following the lap of Michael Dunlop, and it's quicker than he's been. Hasn't put 2 together, put 2 single laps in, but he's quicker on this lap.
Yeah, of course, we need to check the fitness and see whether he'll be able to do multi-laps. So just to see whether he does a 2-lap run here. That's the most he is allowed to do. It is a 2-lap session. His time out to Glen Helen last night on the 123-mile-an-hour lap he did was a 4:37.2. This afternoon it is a 4:33.5, so he's nearly 4 seconds quicker out to Glen Helen. His time up to Ballaugh last night was a 7:54. It is a 7:48 now, so he is 6 seconds quicker out to Ballaugh than he was last night. He's over the 124 mark for this lap.
Let's just give you the retirements. Number 3, Paul Jordan, a retirement, as is number 20, Julian Trummer. He's retired there at Ballacrane. Quickest through the Sulby Speed Trap, Horst Seiger at 171.2 miles per hour. Then number 18, Rob Hodson at 170.3. David Johnson, 168.6. And Michael Dunlop, 4th quickest at 164.5. So we're all set for a quickest lap potentially from Michael Dunlop. Chris Boyd is down near to Dean Harrison's quickest in practice.
I've got the projection, although he is beating all of his times from yesterday, so this could go up as the lap goes on. 124.1 based on the 2 sector times and what we know so far from Michael. But as I say, he's beating all of those times from yesterday, so the potential is this is going to go higher. 124.5 Dean Harrison did. He's of course knocked out of the meeting. Just a quick look at the MGP Juniors. Nathan Harrison is the quickest man to Ballaugh. He is, he's just half a second or so quicker than Stephen Parsons, with Andrew Fisher, Stephen Smith and Dave Butler, the next quickest men out to Ballaugh of the MGP Junior category.
Thank you very much indeed, Chris Boyd. Well, let's head up, I think, to Ramsey Hairpin and give Roy Moore a chance to see them up May Hill and into his site there at Ramsey Hairpin.
Yes, you'll always get an indication on the speed on the exit from Stella Maris, and none more so than Bruce Anstey, and that's one thing we're looking forward to this afternoon in the lightweight. But it's all lies down the road now. Again, the sun beaming down over Ramsey. We can hear a machine in the distance, but we can't as yet see it, but it will be breaking the beam down there on the exit from Whitegates and approaching us here at Ramsey Hairpin. These big machines hard to get anchored up for the cute left-hander and up the start of the mountain climb. But Philip Crow sweeping out, or is it David Johnson? No, it's Philip Crow who's first here, but David Johnson is right behind him. And certainly Philip Crow was wide coming out of Stella Maris on these big, lovely sounding machines as they accelerate away up now under the damp-free patch area up towards the waterworks. But it will be interesting to see how Michael Dunlop is handling this. Another machine interview. We're expecting this to be Gary Johnson. Number 7 it is, the racing number of Barry Sheen. But number the machine comes into view. This looks like number 1. Horst Seiger, and it certainly is. And there's Michael now, back end getting a bit loose as he comes in, but into the brilliant sunshine, tight to the inside, just looks over his left shoulder to see the next man there, which was Sam West, who was right behind him, but certainly I think Michael Dunlop overtaking him. Number 13 here now, that is Sam West. It must have been, I would think, in that particular line, the number 11 Michael Sweeney, because number 12 is here now. That's Craig Neve. 2 machines interview down the centre of the road. Michael Sweeney it is on the Mistral Racing, and then number 19. And thoughts go out there to Michael Evans, who broke his collarbone and is not on that machine. It is now being ridden by Joey Thompson. It was originally due to have been ridden by Michael Evans. He is member of the 120 mile an hour club, the Tommy Club, but certainly another broken collarbone just prior to the TT, and certainly achieved at the pre-TT Classic down there at Ballown. But certainly see Joey Thompson seems to be doing it justice, and certainly there'll be some times getting put there together to see another sweep out of Stella Maris down through the box. 1, 2, well, appropriately number 2, because it is Stephen Parsons. He is one man who has done the 120 in the Manx. So that is the first machine through as another machine comes into view. This is Ian Locker, number 3, tight to the inside on the 2-stroke, and 17 behind him. 17 there, that's another Manx Grand Prix runner, David McConaughey. So the boys are getting them mixed up now with the Grand Prix runners, and that is number 11, I think, that's going through there. Or was that 13? We're just getting that pointed out. 17. Danny Webb, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 go round as quickly as that, and in amongst them is a 2-stroke, and I think that would be possibly Jamie Coward, Danny Webb that we'd be going through there, or would that be the machine of Lee Johnston that we heard going away from Ramsey Hairpin? Andy Farrell and Dave Butler, Steve Proctor, they're all through, and there's number 10, Nathan Harrison through Ramsey Hairpin. He was up to 119 in practice, and the last machine to go through there, let's just check that one, I think it was number 11, Brad Vickers, safely through Ramsey Hairpin. But certainly the boys are pretty good going here. But then again, absolutely dry and perfect conditions. A bit of a gap on the road now, but that's nothing to get worried about, because there is a sound of machines approaching us here now. Could this be 118, Damien Horan? Certainly is. 106 and number 5 and 118 amongst them, and then the distinctive. And then it's number 10, I think that's Dan Sale. Dan Sale is safely through Ramsey Hairpin on the distinctive green-coloured machine, the 250, has out hard onto the brakes and some black lines getting left already. I think that was number 12 that was through there. Just check on that just to make sure. But Daryl Tweed, I think, is also safely through. And a name we haven't mentioned as yet, 21 is, though. 21 tight down to the inside, and that is Ryan Maher, and he's safely through. And Royce Rowe is also through there. Then the distinctive sound of number 37, the Rotary Norton, as it goes away up towards Waterworks in the capable hands of Richard Wilson, 113. That is Mark Colvin, the man from Peel, who had that bit of an off down at the Southern, but certainly out here now on the Manx Grand Prix numbers. And 35, that's one of the Superbikes. 35, we can check that one out. Where would he fit into it? Can't just as yet pick him up there. Chris Boris, was it? Just checking on that one there as we get further down now. And certainly that is number 4, that's Michael Rutter, so he's well down the field. Just bedding it in now for Monday's race is 31. That's Chris Sabora. That is the man we were looking for, who'd indicated that he'd broken the beam down the road. And again, the boys taking it nice and steady as 26 in the Manx Grand Prix goes through. And we can't as yet see him on there. Yes, it is. It's Gaz Evans. And 23 is there as well. Number 23 is Adrian Hartog. So they're safely through Ramsey Hairpin, and then into that is number 28, so they will be streaming over the mountain now. They'll be through the bungalow, well through the bungalow. We did notice that bike that was dropping the oil. It was a red-coloured machine, but that will be all cleared now as the boys stream towards Tim Glover at the grandstand.
Yeah, just before we go down to the Chris's, Ben Ray, a retirement at Braddon Bridge at the Oak Tree, and Jim Barnett is a retirement at Ballacrane. Jordan McFerrin also at Ballacrane, and Renzo van der Donk is a retirement at Laurel Bank. So quite a list of, and another one through now at Ballaugh Bridge. Alan Brody is now notified, number 43, as a retirement. Chris Boyd, are we looking at 1-2-4 sort of pace for Dunlop?
That's exactly where we are. He is quickest again on the run up the mountain. He's 8 seconds faster than David Johnson to the bungalow, and it puts him slap bang on 124 pace.
Well, we've got our first 2 bikes, David Johnson and Philip Crow, numbers 9 and 16, indicated now at Cronknevona. So let's head downstairs to Chris Palmer, but firstly, Chris Kinley.
Yeah, conditions absolutely perfect. We're actually taking a little bit of shelter under the Bennett's Arch here just to get out of that sun that is, well, we're thankful for it, Chris, after the week we've had, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. It's nice to be stood here with sunglasses and a T-shirt on for a change after the week we've had.
I'm not gone for the sunglasses because I just think it would panderise, always sort of do. The board says exactly the same. Here we go. It's going to be 2 laps these guys can do if they want. Then they will be short lapped after the second lap, and then the next group of practices will be coming out on the ramp here, which is the little return ramp. Chris, have a look up the road.
Yeah, there's nothing in sight just yet, but they can't be far away. You'll just sort of catch them just coming over the rise out of the trees, and here we go. Here comes the first one, and it's number 9, and it sounds like it's on 4 cylinders there. It's flying.
Oh, it is, yeah, 123.
16 follows him through.
Let's give you the speeds then. Dave Johnson, 18 minutes, 18.38. The guys up the Craig the Bar will be happy with that. 123.67 for Dave Johnson, number 9. 16, Philip Crow, 18 minutes, 32.82. 122.06. They're going now, and they both went straight through.
Yeah, another one into sight. Can't just quite see the number just yet, but here we go. And it's number 6, Michael Dunlop. What's he gone through right there?
Michael Dunlop has gone straight through. That's the quickest Classic TT Superbike lap of the week. 18 minutes 09.82, 124.63. Horse Saiger through in number 1, 121.99 for Horse. And Gary Johnson through in the 120s as well, 120.7. And Rob Hodson is, I think, into the pits at 120.9. So all the runners through, the 6 through so far, all over the 120 barrier, Chris. That's not bad from standard starts.
Yeah, no, fantastic lap times. It really is very impressive. And this is the guys, the front runners stamping their authority right now.
As we look up the road, we'll have more riders interview. In fact, here comes another one across the line. That's, I think that was Michael Sweeney. It was Michael Sweeney, number 11. And he's in the 120s again, 120.2. Joey Thompson, that's better from Joey, number 19 on the Kawasaki, 118.94. And number 12, Craig Neve, 118.46 for Craig. There's number 13 through, that's his Sam West. Sam West on the big Suzuki Classic bike, white plate, black number, 115.27. Just to put this into equation, Michael Dunlop quickest, 124.63, slightly quicker than what Dean Harrison did. Yeah. So Michael Dunlop goes to the top of the shops.
And that's a stunning lap, considering it's a standard start lap. And we know Michael is not 100% fit. He's, we've seen him limping around the paddock, haven't we? We know he's hurting.
Stevie Parsons through on the Junior Manx Grand Prix bike. That's the black plate with the white number. He's in the 120 bracket. Spoke to him last night. He said he was just having a cruise around. Well, he's upped it today from about 118, 119s and a half. He did in practice 120.51, 18 minutes 47.127, 120.51 for number 2, Stevie Parsons. He'll be looking to get this Junior Manx Grand Prix double this year.
Yeah, he will.
Another rider over, David McConaughey on number 17 Yamaha Manx Grand Prix, 117.15, and they stream through. Ian Locker just gone through on the 250, that's 113.79, and Danny Webb just through on the classic Suzuki RG 500, 113.5. Nathan Harrison just gone through it. Nathan, that's a good lap, number 10, 120.67.
Yeah. You can tell, Chris, that the conditions are really good out there as well, can't you? And the guys they're in a good place. They're all happy, and I'm surprised quite a few of them are pulling in just after 1 lap. Though I thought they might get out and just batter the 2 laps in.
Brad Vickers, number 11 on the Honda, 117.90. Lee Johnson on the Classic 250 Yamaha, 112.37. Then we've got Jamie Cowan, number 8 on the Classic 250 Yamaha 212.37. Exactly the same speeds, incredible. And Davey Todd, 113.85. That's better for Davey Todd. Danny Ingham from the Manx Grand Prix Senior, number 106 on the Suzuki, 118.61. Damien Horan again on the Senior Manx plate, 118 with the yellow plate with the black numbers, 117.97. And Francesco Coringa, number 9, Italian rider on the Junior Manx, 116.95. Number 5, Royce Rowe, 115.63. Number 12, Darryl Tweed, all Junior Manx bikes, all the 117s. Speeds are up now. This is where they want to be on Wednesday, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah.
Dan Sale just goes through, the returning Dan Sale, 112.33 on that Classic 250.
Yeah, it's a beautiful bike, TSR chassis, it's absolutely stunning.
Let's tell you who I haven't seen go out today, might have missed it, Bruce Anstey.
No, I didn't see him either. I was talking to Clive Paget last night. He was absolutely all smiles, over the moon. Just glad to see Bruce out there, as we all are.
Your mate Richard Wilson, or your mate the bike, the Norton's just gone through nearly 117. He's got up to on that now. That's all right.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I love those things. I think they're just an iconic, so different to everything else out there.
Certainly an iconic noise as well. And Mark Colvin, Manx interest there on the number 113 Suzuki, 113.18. Out to Glen Helen again, Dave Christian.
Yes, thanks, Chris. Dave O'Johnson just through a few seconds ago, and Phil Crow as we came on air there. Phil Crow safely through here on his second lap. A little bit of a gap now. I think we should be awaiting for number 6, Michael Dunlop. Bike does swing into view. It looks pretty sharp. There's Michael Dunlop. Gets on the juice, makes that climb up towards that long right-hander in Sarah's cottage. There's Gary Johnson. No, it's Gary Johnson's horse Saiga tips into the left-hander, closely followed on the road by Gary Johnson. Again, all safely through here on their second lap. Dunlop, again, the quickest out to Glen Helen so far. We were looking a little bit at the Manx Grand Prix Junior, Nathan Harrison and Stephen Parsons. They were putting together quite a little battle there. I didn't see what the 2 lap times were at the end of the grandstand, but we were following them around at Ballaugh Bridge. There was less than a second between them. I think here at Glen Helen there was 0.2 or maybe 0.3 of a second, and they were nip and tuck at Ramsey Hairpin and the Bungalow. So that makes, like, if them two are at the top of the leaderboard in Junior Manx Grand Prix later on in the festival, they should be making for a very, very close race indeed. Excellent speed from the pair of them. 19 comes through now, Joey Thompson, followed by 12 on the road. That's Craig Neve. 4:25 to this for the sector time for Michael Dunlop. So the difference between the stand and start on first lap and the flying lap on lap 2, 8 seconds he's taken off his sector time for this run from the grandstand here, the 9 and a bit miles out here to Glen Helen. So that just shows you how much difference that flying start can make. Crossing that finish line at full tilt. That is Stephen Parsons through here now on his second lap. And the time we'll be interested in for that Junior Manx Grand Prix, of course, will be Nathan Harrison, number 10, the black plate with the white numbers. Nip and tuck they were on adjusted time on that opening lap. And I said that should make for interesting racing a little bit later in the week. Gary Vines, I'm pleased to report, did stop here, made some adjustments, but did get going again. It's definitely not the place to stop on the first qualifying lap of a full day's racing. So very pleased that Gary got going again. Didn't know what it was, but seemed to sound okay when he got it fired up and made his climb up towards Sarah's. 7, 17 and 16, Stephen Smith, Andrew Fisher, David McConaughey, all Junior Manx Grand Prix bikes, followed by another one, David Butler, but they're still awaiting number 10, Nathan Harrison, provided he went through at the grandstand. Of course, he could have pulled in if the bike was going okay, but it's just that comparative time we're looking for with Stephen Parsons. That is another Manx Grand Prix bike, Stephen Proctor, number 1 on the black plate with the white numbers, Stephen Proctor, 4th quickest on the sector time so far. Another 2 into view. First of the 2 strokes in that's Davey Todd, number 1. And Davey Todd safely through here. Dave O'Johnson now trips the timing beam at Ballaugh. Brad Vickers also through here in the Junior Manx Grand Prix class. So Dave O'Johnson at Ballaugh, making his way down towards Quarry Bends, no doubt. That's Daniel Ingham, and Daniel Ingham, the Manx Grand Prix, I think that's the senior, number 106. Daniel Ingham through here on his second pass of the day. 9 and 118, both MGP. Damien Horan, 118, and number 9, Francesco Coringa. 12 comes through now in the Junior Manx Grand Prix. That's Darryl Tweed, taking advantage of squeezing in 2 laps there for Darryl Tweed. But no, it doesn't look like Nathan Harrison has come around for his second lap, which is a bit of a shame. We were just doing that comparative timing with Stephen Parsons. And like I said, on that opening sector, on that opening lap, they were nip and tuck. Something a bit quicker into the left-hander now. 21, Ryan Marr, followed by number 10, Daniel Sale. Dan Sale getting through safely here at Glen Helen on his second pass of the session. And yes, Roy Moore is quite right. That is a fantastic looking machine he has got underneath him, and going reasonably quick as well. So Dan Sell, after a bit of a comeback for him after that big accident he had a couple of years back. I know it's been a long and slow road to recovery for Dan, but brave man getting back on the bike again. 113, Mark Colvin comes through now. 35 there, that was Josh Daly through as well. And one more came through in amongst that lot, Ryan Marr, I think. Number 21, Ryan Marr. The first 5 now, Dunlop, Johnson, Seiger, Thompson and Neve, all through Balaf, and they'll be making their way towards Ramsey Hairpin. So on that note, we'd better hand back to you at the grandstand.
Thank you, Dave Christian and Chris Boyd. This is even quicker than the first back-to-back laps we've seen from Michael Dunlop, and we're looking at something considerably quicker than we've seen all week.
We are indeed. He's faster on the standing start lap. His split out to Glen Helen was a 4-minute 33.4. On the flying lap, it's a 4:25.0. He's quicker again than his split time to Balaf. He's now on a 1:25.6 pace, so upping it considerably on this second lap. Michael Dunlop in the MGP Juniors, that lap of Nathan Harrison, we think may be an unofficial lap record. 18 minutes 45.5. Michael Evans' standing lap record is 18:46.0, so that would appear to be the case, an unofficial MGP Junior lap record for Nathan Harrison.
Excellent stuff. Let's give you some more retirements. Rob Hodson retired here at the grandstand. We've also got Phil Harvey retired at Kurt Michael Village. Philip Crow has retired at Bigarro Crossroads. And is there another one just further down on that? No, there isn't. That is it. So, there's one just popped up, as we say. Andrew Farrell just down the road at Quarterbridge, making his own arrangements to get back here. One of our newcomers through there is Pierre-Yves Bian at 115.05 in the newcomers A. That is incredible. Let's go to Ramsey Hairpin. Roy Moore.
Yeah, we always observe the newcomers here at Ramsey Hairpin, and certainly they've been entertaining us, but they've been doing it very, very well indeed. But here is the man who's leading on the road. Back end steps out a bit. He goes a bit wider than normal. Does number 9, David Johnson there, but certainly corrects it. The back end there went a little bit loose on the approach. He just went a little bit wide at the hairpin, but certainly got it round. But he appears to be backing it off a little bit up towards the waterworks, or is just that my eyes deceiving? But the Max machine sweeps out. It's Michael Dunlop. He won't be able to. He gives it a wave, gives it a fishtail coming into Ramsey, waving to the commentator. Has a look over his left shoulder. That must be painful for him to do if you've got any pelvic injuries, just to kind of lift yourself up and look over the left-hand side. But nobody about in view at the Ramsey Hairpin. He's doing the 2 laps together. It should be number 1, Horse Seiger, who's here now, and he sweeps out of Stella Maris, the only house you pass twice on a lap of the TT course, because he's passed it on the front, and he'll be certainly just passing it now on the rear as he goes up to Waterworks as well. That causes all kinds of comments, you can tell. Just somebody doing a little bit of pointing there to pointing to there, gets the thumbs up from the marshals, but certainly the 2 boys now there's only 3 who've gone through. But going back to the newcomers, certainly it was good to see them getting into the sunshine here and the dry roads at Ramsey Hairpin, and full credit to all of them. And that lap by Nathan Harrison now puts 2 brothers in the Manx Grand Prix who are over 120 miles per hour. Officially last year, I think 2 years ago now it was, Glenn Harrison got that. Although it's unofficial for Nathan, he has posted a 120 miles per hour lap. How grateful that must be to Dean, Father Dean there, to see that happening. Your 2 sons being over 120 round the TT mountain course. Another fast sweep out from Stella Maris. It is number 12 who's here with us now, Craig Neeb, and he's being followed by Yorkshire Joey Thompson there, number 19, and as well. There's times coming up on the side, but they're totally incidental to us here. All we're describing is the riders going round. Stephen Parsons would be one, though. This is the first of the Manx Grand Prix men. He starts at number 2, and certainly he has a quick look over his left shoulder as well. Bright red light, and he's taking it up through the box, going towards Waterworks. So it should be interesting to see what time he will post on this flying second lap. Remember when they start off, dead engines and stuff, so it's a kind of the only indication you get is when on the second lap, when it's a fast start. Will they be allowed to go through and cross the line, or will they be short-lapped with the other practice session due to be taking place as well? On the way up, I thought Tim Glover had moved. I saw a sign there, Glover Cottage, on the little excess road that we use to come up to Ramsey Hairpin. On a closer inspection, it was Clover Cottage. Number 7 won't be worried about that as he comes through. That's Stephen Smith. Manx Grand Prix numbers again, as is number 16. That's Andrew Fisher. And number 7, Stephen Smith in there amongst it. And number 8 is here with us now. That is Dave Butler. So all the Manx Grand Prix men. I think it was David McConaughey was the one that we missed. Or is this David McConaughey here now into Ramsey? No, this is number 1. He will have the privilege of starting it. Stephen Proctor. Or I think it was number 17 that we saw David McConaughey going through. Brad Vickers, I think he's on a flying lap as well. And of course, Davy Todd on the 2-stroke. I don't know whether he went through on the first, but certainly he's indicated, and you just think of sound of a 2-stroke. There is number 11, that's Brad Vickers through, and Davy Todd there. But kind of taking it easy. He's not revving it as he goes away from Ramsey Hairpin, and 106 is there. That's Daniel Ingham, and that's the Manx Grand Prix. And to separate the seniors from the juniors, they make the seniors put a 1 in front of their number. So he will be, I would imagine, starting at number 6 in the race proper, which is, well, a week away, really, virtually, isn't it? A week going back to yesterday, Friday. There's number 9, number 112, and 12 are here. 112 doesn't come up on our timing because that's on what 118 it was. I've been reliably informed. Damien Horan that was through there, and Francesco Caringa and Davy Todd we've already mentioned, and number 12 there was Darrell Tweed. Next should be Ryan. Now how do you pronounce it? I think I got told Maha, but that'll be something to remain to be seen. We'll get it right by the end of the week. Number 21. And certainly I think he is the brother-in-law of Carolyn Sells, who is the only female winner around the TT Mountain course. Where does the time go? I can remember sitting here and commentating on that as Carolyn went round the 4 laps non-stop to win the 400 class and claim that title of being the only winner. It's Daniel Sell, number 10. Getting it nice and steady, not revving it. Remember, they are racing this afternoon, and he's done 2 laps, so that in effect will be 6 laps for that particular engine round here. So no doubt that he's not revving it, as 113 and 25 and 35 are here. 113 was Mark Colvin, so the man from Peel is going out on a second lap, and Forrest Dunn was in there amongst it, and I think it was Josh Daly running at number 35 there on the white plates, which indicate that he will be running in the Superbike class. So still more practice to come, and then 2 races, and then Steve Hislop's lap as well. So it's certainly a packed day, and been reliably informed that Phil Crow, who I think must have pulled in on that. But it'll be interesting to see what the second lap of Michael Dunlop on a flying lap will be. He's safely through the bungalow. All the times and statistics will be taken care of. But with a quiet Ramsey Hairpin for the moment, we take you back to the grandstand.
35. 4 minutes to go till the end of this.
Closes. And let's go straight down to Chris Kinley. We could be in 126 territory for Dunlop.
Yeah, 12:35, Tim. This is going to be stopping this session. They did have up there 12:30, but they've added 5 minutes onto it because that's kind of guys you are. And a couple of guys are just going to get a sneaky last lap in there now. We are keeping an eye, as we've said, up at Michael Dunlop on this lap. And Chris Palmer is doing what? Short lap.
They short lap them, so they're going to pull them into the top end of the paddock there.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much for that. Good job. I can't see over the wall.
And I can?
Yeah, well, you're kind of a bit further out to the left than me, anyway. What's going out next is the Senior Classic and the Junior Classic TT machines. We will have, of course, newcomers B and C, and the lightweight and the ultra lightweight for the Manx Grand Prix going to be going out in a few minutes' time on what they call the ramp, which is gets you out the Parc Fermé area, up the ramp, up to a little area that's now got tape around it for some reason. Health and safety, I think.
Health and safety, yeah.
The junior bikes will be getting themselves ready now. The junior plates with the blue background and the white number boards. The Senior Classic TT bikes, they are the yellow background with the black number boards, And let's look at Michael Dunlop. Well, I can tell you what, David Johnson, first of all, that's a good lap for Davo Johnson. He said there was some speed in there. 18.06.265, 125.04, and Michael Dunlop 125.75. David Johnson, that's a marker and a half, isn't it?
Yeah, it's these boys are on it now, aren't they? We can tell the conditions have picked up from earlier in the week. Michael Rutter's coming up the ramp on his number 4 Ripleyland little 350 Honda.
Paul Seiger improvement on his lap today, 122.39 on the number 1 Kawasaki, 18 minutes 29.82, 122.39. So the top 2 boys on the leaderboard then will be Michael Dunlop and David Johnson. More bikes will be short flagged in very, very shortly. If you wonder what short flag means, is if you know where the entrance to the police station is, they get kind of turned down the little ramp and then they go up onto the circuit and they go back down into Parc Fermé. Michael Dunlop with Fox. What is it?
That's when I rode it. I always had a little Fox sticker on the back of the bike.
Why is that?
I don't know. I just did.
You got a T-shirt with it on there?
I know.
Oh, okay, was that like a superstition sort of thing?
It was actually, yeah, because I originally started off in motocross. It was the motocross Fox, and I always had the little Fox head on the back of the bike. And it's nice of the. I've not ridden for 6 years, and the little Fox head's still on the bike that I rode, which is a nice little touch.
No other riders through the transponder loop yet to bring you any more speeds, but we will bring them. We'll keep an eye on those Junior Manx Grand Prix times. A lot of the guys went straight through, so I think we could be in 121 territory for those guys. The number 4 Ripleyland Honda and the Davies Motorsport Honda. 2 minutes to go to the start. In fact, who's that coming up the ramp there now? One of the Manx Grand Prix, one of the lightweight boys coming up. Oh, so loud. Number 12, that is. That is Davey Quine, Manxlad for Glenvine. So Quine comes up to the ramp. Dave Quine road racing on the side of that. Always goes well up at Derby. Very good running. Rode for Martin Bullitt for a little while too.
He did, yes, he did.
And number 15, yeah. Alex Sinclair on the Junior Classic 350. In fact, the Senior Classics aren't going out, are they? Because they're racing later. That's I've just read from the programme anyway, so don't worry about it. These things happen. More machines across the line. Number 2, Stevie Parsons, 120.20, so a little improvement for Stevie Parsons, and 119.64 for number 7, Stephen Smith. Get ready to go with these machines away.
Number 42, Blue Blades 350. 42, we've got Richard Lambourne on another 350 Honda.
Jamie Edwards on the SV650 on the lightweight Manx Grand Prix orange plates. Number 9 is Michael Rees on his, number David, it's Michael Rees, it is Michael Rees, number 8, and number 36, also on the ER6, number 36, Ray Maloney.
Number 24, Blue Blades, Ewan Hamilton on another 350 Honda. Number 27 is pushing his bike up here, 27, Dave McCrabbers, 350. Wow, that's loud.
How many pairs of earplugs should we be wearing? Roger Whibley on his Suzuki, the SV650.
Number 40, Jeff Ward, 250 Suzuki. Now, number 1, Paul Jordan with the 350 did come up the ramp and he's gone back down again, so I wonder if he's let it stop.
Gavin Brown, number 33, and number 32, Veronica Hankosi. She goes away on her pattern. 29 is next to go. 29 is where are we now? 29 is Mikey Mins. Alongside him is 23. That's on the lightweight Manx bike again. That's Paul Wardell.
Number 47, Tom Weed. Now he's down in the programme as a 350 North, but that's definitely a Honda. Number 59, up the ramp, 59 is Jason Lamb, another 350 Honda. Number 65 is Edward Poole, 350 North.
What a racket.
Wow,
what a racket. 82 is Sarah Boyce on the ultra lightweight Manx Grand Prix machine. With number 45. Number 45 again on the twin is John Bain on the SV650. And 44, and next to him is Garth Hudson Blackburn on his ER6 Kawasaki.
54 Blue Blades, Carl Fox, 350 Honda.
And one of the Super Twins on the lightweight Manx Grand Prix bikes of number 9. Next to him, number 9 is Dave McConaughey, who said from Craplington.
Number 1 bike is coming back up the ramp. They've got it restarted again. That's Paul Jordan on the Ripley Land 350 AGS 7R.
Martin Currams has just gone from Tremor on his ER6.
73, Ken Parks, newcomer on the 350 Honda. 74 is Simon Collins, another 350 Honda. Number 75, Terence Sansom, 350 Honda. 67, Gary Hutton, 350 Honda.
Give you some more time, some of the other guys that are coming across the line in the moment. It's quite noisy, as you can understand. Brad Robinson, 49 away on his twin. 85 is next to go, that's Shelley Pike. Campaigning that little 400 Honda for a long time, Michelle. Of an 85 this year.
Number 20, Richard Wilson, another 350 Honda. Weapon of choice.
Yeah, 83 is Derek Wilkie on a ZXR 400. 72 next to him, 72 is Leon Murphy. 19 on the twin and the lightweight, 19 is Jamie Edwards. We'll get some of the newcomers out in a minute too. Back to the board we go. It's got a little bit quiet, which is good to see. Francesco Kringa, 117.6 on the junior Manx bike. Darryl Tweed, 119.4. Chris Sabor, 113.3. Gaz Evans, 26, 114.61. Dan Sale on the 250 Classic Lightweight, 113.06. I think we're about Dave Butler, 117.42 on the junior Manx. And Stevie Proctor, number 1 in the junior Manx, 118.49. Number 1, Davey Todd into the 115s on the 250 Classic bike. More 400s leave. Brad Vickers about to leave on his number 10 machine. We've got newcomers C class about to leave now. That's William P. Kane, the little RS125.
Number 72 is Jason Burrell on a 350 Honda.
Yeah, Jason, a newcomer here. Bit of sneak off the back of that, but he's all right. Andrea Maiola about to leave as newcomer. 26. And we got 21. 21 is Robert Cairns. He's about to go in his 600, 650, should I say. Away we go. 75, Nigel Moore. Now, Nigel's got a couple of bikes at his disposal. He was on the Moto 3 yesterday, and he's back on the little 125 now. 26 leaves us. The newcomers, number 30 is just about to go. Number 30, one of those Moto 3 bikes. That's Adrian Scaife in the NSF 250R. Alongside him is number 28, another one of those. Number 28 is Kenneth Kernow on the NSF 250R. 18, Marky Colvin on the lightweight Manx Grand Prix bike at number 20. Forgot to put it in gear. Won't be the first and won't be the last. That's Mark Kirkby from Hexham. As the ramp goes quiet just a little bit, let's have a little look down there, see if there's anybody else who has improved on their times. Anybody standing out? Josh Daly's just done his lap on the Yamaha in the Classic TT at 116.98, and 25 Forrestal on the Classic Yamaha, Classic Kawasaki, should I say, 117.5. And Gary Vines has got through on the Yamaha, number 7 with the green plate, out to Glen Helen and Dave Christian.
Yes, thanks, Chris. First man through now is David Quine on the number 12 bike, and closely followed number 19, Jamie Edwards, but then a whole gaggle come through all together. Hear that noise. And in amongst all that one, we had Michael Rees, Lee Johnston and Michael Rutter. But the first man on the road, number 12 at the Manx Grand Prix, it is David Quine. Ray Maloney comes through now on 36. 15 there in the Classic class is Alex Sinclair. That's the blue plate for the Classic class. So Lee Johnston, Michael Rutter, Alex Sinclair all the way through. Man to watch, he's just coming to the end of his lap now as that newcomer, Pierre-Yves Pian. He's done a 1:15 already. He's looking to be quicker as Roger Wibley comes through now. And Gavin Brown and Veronica Hankachova. It is Pierre-Yves Pian, number 7. It's a red plate on the bike, coming towards the end of his second qualifying lap now. And he is going some. He's about 40 seconds quicker on the first lap than the next man in the newcomer class. Looks like we might get a 1:16 out of him, maybe. 29, 24, 23 all through together. 29, Mike Mins. 23 is Paul Wardell. And 33 in there was Gavin Brown. We do have a stationary yellow flag displayed here. Can't quite see anything that's causing an issue, but perhaps somebody stopped a little bit round the corner just up the road as number 40, Jeff Ward, comes through in the MGP class. 27, Dave Matravers there as well. Everyone easing off a little bit with that flag on display, but two more of the MGPs, Garth Woods through there, and Mike Minns, I think that was. And again, number 2, nice and steady with the flag being displayed. 82, Sarah Boys, and I think the other one in that was, let's just have a little look, Garth Woods. John Bain through now, and 46 comes through Jeff Smith. So Michael Rees, David Quine, Jamie Edwards, they're the top 3 speed-wise in the Manx Grand Prix. And it is Lee Johnston from Michael Rutter and Alex Sinclair are the 3 quickest of the sector in the classic class. 2 more into the left-hander. 59 is Jason Lamb, and Martin Currams is 51. 51 Manx Grand Prix, and 59 in the classic. Number 1, Paul Jordan through now on his classic bike. It's number 1, Paul Jordan, the blue plate for the classic machinery, the junior classic machinery. So Lee Johnson, Michael Rutter, Alex Sinclair, Paul Jordan, just outside the top 3 on time for the sector as 54 comes through. Carl Fox, I think that is. Again, that is a junior bike. And 2 more now swing into the right-hander here, but again, ease off on the power. Second of them is number 19, Wade Bourget, the first of the newcomers, and Edward Poole through here as well on the classic. So we've got 20, 49, 85. Oh, just coming a little bit too quick for me to pick up, but Derek Wilkie, Shelley Pike, Bradley Robinson, Ken Parks, Simon Collins, all through here on their opening lap of this 2-lap session. 75 through, Terence Sansom. That's Terence Sansom safely through here as the leader on the road. David Quine, number 12 in that Manx Grand Prix lightweight class. He breaks the timing beam at Balaf Bridge. That's David Quine now through Balaf. As 3 or 4 more bikes just sweep through there at the end. Andrea Mahola, number 22 in the newcomers class, looks to have put in a reasonable time for the sector. He goes to the top of the newcomers leaderboard. He's about 18 seconds quicker than the first newcomer on the road, Wayne Bourget, but none of them, I suspect, will be as quick as Jean-Yves Bien, who was on the other newcomers class, which was out earlier, and I'm sure when we get back to the grandstand, we'll pick up on how he finished his lap, but it looked mightily impressive from where we were watching. 66 through there, Manx Grand Prix. Daniel Ingham has also been through here as well. And who else have we had? Gary Hutton, 67 on the Junior Classic. And the first of the Junior Classics now, Alex Sinclair and Lee Johnston through Balaf, as is quite a few of those Manx Grand Prix now. And we'll just quickly go back to Tim Glover at the grandstand.
Yeah, you were following a newcomer in the Manx Grand Prix, Pierre-Yves Bien, at 115.04 miles per hour on lap 1. He's beaten it on lap 2, as you rightly estimated he would. 115.55 miles per hour, 5 seconds quicker on lap 2, but of course he was short lapped, so will have slowed down. But there's your answer on Pierre-Yves Bien. Back to you, Dave.
Yes, thanks, Tim. Excellent news. It's a great start for him. He must have only done a handful of laps around here, and he's put in a very, very impressive time for his qualifying today. As we've been speaking, we've had Mark Kirby through. It's number 20 in the newcomer class. And there's a whole scotch more now all through Balaf. Michael Rees, Jamie Edwards, David McConaughey, Gavin Brown, Veronica Hankachova, Roger Wibley, Ray Maloney, Mike Minns, Paul Wardell and Garth Woods all through Balaf. And Alex Sinclair, Lee Johnson and Ewan Hamilton in the classic class as well. Jeff Ward now just goes through Balaf as well. So the leaders on the road all streaming their way down. They'll be hitting the first ones. David Quine, I would imagine, will be through Sulby Speed Trap by now. As I think another through Sarah Boys now through Balaf as well. And the fastest of those newcomers, though, Andrea Mahola through here, number 22 on the red plate. He's the quickest man in the newcomers classes so far through here. Good 18 seconds quicker than the next man, Wayne Bourget. And we've got now Tom Whedon and Dave Matravers both safely through the left bridge. And that means that the leaders will be nudging their way towards Ramsey Hairpin. So quickly we'll go back to the grandstand.
Thank you, Dave. Christian, a few more retirements to tell you about. Benjamin Plant has retired at the Quarter Bridge. Gary Johnson, number 7, a retirement at Kurt Michael at Douglas Road. 42, Richard Lambourne has retired at Ballacrane. 74, Steve Moody retired at Parliament Square. And number 73, David Murphy has retired at Hilbury. Still quickest horse Saiga at the Sulby Speed Trap at 171.2. Ewan Hamilton just gone through there at 120.3. Gareth Woods at 140.1. But let's go to Ramsey Hairpin. Roy Moore.
Yeah, no machines into Ramsey as yet, and our computer's not playing the game a little bit, but certainly we will be able to catch them by visual contact on the road going back to the old days. We're privileged to have Michael Mann and Dominic Reid-Jones with us here from Bennett's Classic or Bike Social from Bennett's, and certainly they're taking a good lot of attention there, not only doing a little bit of filming but seeing how the commentary box works here at Ramsey Hairpin. Whether they're impressed or not, it remains to be seen, but we have a man in the machine in view here now. It's number 12, so that's going back to the 650 class off the Manx Grand Prix, and that was in fact going through there David Quine, the local lad, and he's followed by number 19 going through. 19 there is Jamie Edwards, so the Suzuki through, and then it's number 8, so the 650's leading the way here at Ramsey. Number 8, Michael Reese is safely through Ramsey as well, and no doubt the effects microphone, which is just to my right here at the commentary position at Ramsey Hairpin, will be picking up the sound of the twin cylinders as they head up towards Waterworks Corner. A little bit of increase in the wind here at Ramsey, which is a bit scary really, but I think on a day like today it's not going to be proving too difficult at all. Another of the 650s into Ramsey, and this is a higher number. This is number 36 who is safely through, so we have to go over our page for that. Number 36 there going through is Ray Maloney on the Kawasaki, which seems to be the favoured machine. No sign of the juniors 350s here at Ramsey, which is, unless they were set off and we missed that. 21 is here. 21 on that is Roger Wibberley. Number 32, well, that's the distinctive sound of the pattern you'll be here going away from Ramsey Hairpin. Rider there, yes, well, we heard him go away. Veronica Hankakova is safely through Ramsey. Number 15 is the first of the 350s through. We go to the page and tell you that it's Alex Sinclair who has made it here to Ramsey first on the Honda. Number 29, that's on the orange coloured plate, which is an unusual colour, but certainly 29 there. Mike Minns safely through Ramsey. They're displaying a green flag here at Ramsey Hairpin, or being told to display a green flag at Ramsey Hairpin. It's not affecting number 9, who is next here now on the 350s, David McConaughey. I do believe he was out earlier on the junior machine or the senior, depending on whether it was yellow or blue, but certainly that will all be rectified when they get together. But I think I can hear a K4 in the Ramsey area now. It's not the first machine into view, that is number 44. Number 44 there is Garth Wood. The second one is, I think, previous 250 winner around here on the little Suzuki, the T20, but the K4 as it goes away of Ewan Hamilton sounds an awful lot more noisy than the T20 was as it goes away. I think it's been looked after there by John Sunter, who is a man who instantly springs to mind when you're talking about the renovation and the maintaining of the Hondas, the K4s. I watched him in action the other day, is 82, so that will be right on the last of the programme there. It's Sarah Boys on the Kramer. They're going through Ramsey Hairpin. Had that off when it seized in the Ulster Grand Prix, but certainly now getting her confidence back, and none more so that on these dry roads as 49. I think that's on the Junior Classic machine that went through. We get number 49 to tell you it was Keith Dixon at 47. You'll find this is very distinctive. That's Tom Whedon. Well, the old
Goatland Garage Classics machine there safely through Ramsey, and we always think of that when we get a heartbeat on it, because that is the garage that is in the scene off that particular series. Number 27 flipping the throttle, Dave Matravers, and then number 1, he will be leading them away, Paul Jordan on the 350 AJS, the AJ Stevens. And when you think of that, you think of the passing of Rod Coleman, who won the 1954 TT, the junior TT, and I think it was 92 years of age he passed away at, but certainly thoughts out to Rod Coleman, number 19, that's on the classic. Jamie Edwards, no, the second one is a classic though, didn't quite get the number on that, apologies. But as they say in Manx terms, there's a scutch coming here now. It's 20 on the junior plate, 22 and 86, and they all seem to be sorting themselves out. But they all seem to be going a little bit close to those banners there, which have got Charterhouse written all over them on the exit from Ramsey Hairpin, which has remained the same from 1911 when they first came to compete round the mountain course. 85, so on the lightweight on that, and 59 on the junior plates. So we've got, I think that wasn't Arthur Browning on that one, 59. We can tell you there, number 59 was in fact Jason Lamb.
Two together now, 54 and 73. 54, they're just checking on that one. We have to go over the page for that, and it is Carl Fox, so it'd be delightful if he could get a run round. I don't think he's qualified to go out this afternoon on the bigger machine, as the last that goes through there with the distinctive red light on the back. We've just got time to take the nice steady approach of number 13 on the pattern, and he is riding in the lightweight classic, and it is Francesco Caringa. Back to the grandstand.
Thanks very much, Roy. We've been told that Michael Rutter clipped the bales at Sarah's cottage. Rider perfectly okay, but a retirement. So Michael Rutter clipped the bales at Sarah's cottage. Watch John McGuinness and Michael Rutter's Twitter accounts, I think, later on today. The new schedule, the next race will be now at 13:40. It's the Bennett Senior Classic TT race over 4 laps. The Back to the Future, the Hizzy Years commemorative lap is now due to start at 15:50, so 10:04. Dunlop Lightweight Classic TT race over 4 laps due to start now at 16:35, 25:5. Then it's 6:30. We've got a Classic TT Superbike qualifying and a Manx Grand Prix Senior and Junior and Newcomers A qualifying over 1 lap. And that will immediately be followed 10 minutes later at 18:40 by the Classic TT Junior, Manx Grand Prix Lightweight, Ultra Lightweight and Newcomers B and C 1 lap qualifying sessions. That is the schedule. The next one is that at 13:40 we'll have the Bennett Senior Classic TT race over 4 laps. Chris North, the latest of the newcomers to finish here at 100.34. Christian Paluch, number 8 in the newcomers A at 101.66. Chris Stewart, 105 exactly for the newcomers, number 14 there. So some impressive times that no one is near to Pierre-Yves Bihan, who is absolutely flying. Chris Kinley.
He is 2 very similar laps, 115 and a bit, then 115 and a half for the newcomer. He's way ahead of most of the other guys. On some Manx fronts there, Mike Brews got up to the 106. That's good for him. He's done, he's just progressed. I mean, we've talked about this, haven't we, through the week, progressions of speeds, and he's not done mad jumps, as he's just done like another couple of mile an hour in every session. So he's done 104, I think, the first lap, and then straight to 106. It's still a good chuck, isn't it?
It is, but remember, these lads have lost so much track time with obviously all the poor weather and cancelled sessions. So this is their first go really in good conditions, really, isn't it? This is what we class as the best conditions.
Number 12, David Quine, the Manx lad, he was one of the first away in the second session, 108.18 miles an hour. The first klaxon goes. There's another twin. That's Michael Rees, number 8, 108.84. Then number 19, Jamie Edwards on his Suzuki, 107.78 miles an hour. So not much between those guys, really. There's only about 12 seconds between those 3 there. That's pretty similar. Just trying to remember who went off first in that session on the 350 juniors. Yeah, okay. So we're going to get that race off. I think the new time Tim read out a little bit earlier on. That's 140, wasn't it? I think, yeah.
I think that's what he said,
I
Chris.
think it was right about that, wasn't it? That
Yeah,
was about right. We've lost our stat man, Timo Hanlon. He's gone off to get his pits because he has to do them sort of things. So Dave Quine, 20 minutes, 55.956, 108.18. Number 8, Michael Rees, 20 minutes, 48.008, 108.84. And number 19, Jamie Edwards, on his Suzuki, 21 minutes flat, 0.206, 107.78 miles an hour. And they are the only 3 riders through. So they've gone, all them 3 have gone straight through, Chris, needing laps.
Yes, exactly. Like we said, these guys are, struggling for laps. Basically, that's what it's all about, isn't it? And just track time and setup time, and everyone's on the sort of back foot, really.
Across the line, another twin, Roger Whibley. That was on his Suzuki on the number 21 machine, 104.42, 21 minutes 40.830, 104.42. Veronica Hankosi on the pattern. That's a good lap for Veronica. 21:41.932 for the number 32 bike. 104.33 miles per hour. Another one into earshot once more. All going straight through. 23 Paul Wardell and his Kawasaki. 21 minutes 44.7, 104.11. And number 9 David McConaughey. 20 minutes 57.713, 108 flat that is, and
Chris.
29 Mike Mins, 21:54, 469, 103.33. Tim.
Chris, just to let you know that number 13 Lee Johnson is a retirement at Sulby Bridge. 13 Lee Johnson retired at Sulby Bridge, making his own arrangements to get back. Back to you.
Alex Sinclair gone through in his 350 Junior Classic TT bike on the Honda, 23 minutes 05.545, 98.03 for Alex. That's a pretty good lap. That's pretty much in the ballpark, that, isn't it, for at least the top 10 for Alex Sinclair, because the top guy's doing 100s, 101s, and that's pretty good.
He's a good rider, though.
Yeah.
He's been around a long time. I'm sure he was riding Lansdowne British Championships and stuff, and he's a good goer.
Another rider over the line and straight through once again, number 44, Garth Woods, 22 minutes 01.194, 102.81. We do have one machine actually coming in through, and I think that could be Alex Sinclair. It is coming up the return road. He'll have to just stop by the old where all the fire brigade boys and girls sit in there. I think he's coming straight into pit lane. Into Parc Ferme. You're done. Yeah, I think that bike's gone. I think he's gone. Put that down, putting it away. Happy with the job, shall we say? More riders coming into our earshot once again. Sounding nice. Paul Jordan went off quite late, didn't he? So that's Ewan Hamilton, number 24 on his Honda. 94.61 for him. Sarah Boys on the number 82. She's just gone through as well on the Kramer, 98.57 miles an hour. 98.57 miles an hour. I think the Italians are having a little bit of fun with us here, aren't they? So that's okay. We can deal with that. So Sarah Boys just gone through. She'll be happy with that after a bit of a big off at the Rock Bends there at the Ulster Grand Prix. Yeah.
Did somebody say earlier that it seized? Or,
I think so.
That'll be a nasty little shock to the system.
45 John Bain through on his twin, the Suzuki, at 97.63. Another rider over the line, that is Andrea Maiola, one of the newcomers in the B class, number 22 on the pattern, 107.52. And Tom Whedon, number 47 on his 350 Honda Classic machine, 105.76. Sounds like a 250 machine. It is. Jeff Ward, number 40 on the Suzuki, 91.97. And number 10, Brad Vickers goes through in the Kawasaki VRS Kawasaki, 105.76 for him. Wayne Bourgois, newcomers B, number 19 on the Kawasaki, 101.2. And Martin Currams, number 51. He's just gone through on his lightweight machine, 96.58. Paul Jordan on the AJS, 97.74 for Paul.
Yeah, that's quicker. He was doing 96 the other night. I was talking to him earlier, actually, over at the bus stop, and he was asking me what speed I'd got it round at, and he's obviously got a little bit of a niggle.
What did you tell him?
Do you know what I said? It's just under 100. I can't remember, but I got him. Obviously got him wound up anyway.
Richie Wilson goes through on the Honda on the 350 Junior Classic TT, 98.71, and 27 Dave Matravers on the Sealy AJS at 88.88 miles per hour. Number 72 Leon Murphy on his Kawasaki, he's just gone through, 99.64 for him. And Shelley Pike, 85 on the Honda on the ultra lightweight Manx Grand Prix, 95.75. couple more over the line. Derek Shields, 97.91 on his Honda in the Junior Classic, and 46 Jeff Smith on his Junior Classic bike, 89.61 miles an hour. I'm not telling you now. Derek Wilkie just goes through number 83 on his Kawasaki, 94.86, and Mark Colvin on his twin, that is in the lightweight class of the Manx Grand Prix, the orange plate, 103.03. They're on the second lap in this practice session, or qualifying session. Let's head out. Dave Christian at Glen Helen.
Yes, thanks, Chris. First three men on the road through here on their second lap. Number 8, Michael Rees. Number 12, David Quine. And number 19, Jamie Edwards. Gap's starting to stretch a little bit between these three. We were watching them on lap 1. In fact, there's 4 riders all within a stone's throw of each other on corrected time. Number 27, Jack Fowler, plus 8, Rees, 19, Edwards, and 12, Quine. At Belaf Bridge on lap 1, there was just 1 second separating the 4 of them, which again looks for mighty close racing coming up in the week, although after a full lap and a bit now, as number 21 Roger Wibley comes through, after a full lap and a bit, the gaps have started to stretch a little bit between Rees, Quine and Edwards, not quite as tightly packed. That's 32 Veronica Hankachova, and 9 comes through as well, David McConaughey, and 23 Paul Wardell, all on their second laps. Royce Rowe to Belaf was the quickest man on lap 1, and him and Francesco Caringa separated by just over half a second. So again, that will be close racing come race day, which is on Monday, is it? Monday, Wednesday? I can't remember. I struggle to remember what day of the week it is. Wednesday it is for the Manx Grand Prix lightweight. In the background, while I was waffling, number 29, Mike Minns is through on his second lap as well. But it is Rees, the quickest man so far here to Glen Helen. But I think Royce Rowe, Francesco Caringa, Dave Butler and Jack Fowler were all quicker than him on the opening lap. Although Royce Rowe did start a little bit further down the field. He was quite late coming through here. And he'll be, it'll be a little minute or two, I suspect, before we see the number 6 bike of Royce Rowe. That's 44 now, tips into the left-hander, gets the power on. Garth Woods now making that climb up towards Sarah's. I'm sure Michael Rutter will be up there enjoying a cup of tea. The stationary yellow we obviously had here on the opening lap was obviously down to Michael's accident, and good to hear that he's okay up there. And like I said, I'm sure he'll be waiting for a cup of tea and hopefully trying to hitch a lift back to the grandstand to get stuck into this afternoon's race card. Also, on what do we notice on lap 1? Less than a second between Rees, Edwards, Quine and Fowler, but Caringa and Royce Rowe were definitely up there with 0.59 of a second between them. Running well in 9th quickest at Belaf on lap 1 was number 33, Gavin Brown. So, and Veronica Hankachova as well, hanging on to a top 10 Belaf on timing on the first lap. She's 6th fastest so far to here on lap 2. But remember, this is the accumulated lap time rather than a split for the sector. 2 more bikes now tipped into the left-hander. The first of the ultra lightweights there, as the first 3 on the road hit into Belaf Bridge now. So that's Rees, Quine and Edwards, 8, 12 and 19 at Belaf. Newcomer Andrea Mahola also through here, number 22 on the red plate. And the first of the Junior Classics, Ewan Hamilton also through here. Sarah Boys, it was the first of the ultras. And that in the background was number 45, John Bain, safely through into his second lap. 13 looked a little bit quicker on the approach, and it is Francesco Caringa, and he does go fastest so far of this session. He is leading, I suppose it's not quite a race, but if it was, he'd be leading with quite a healthy lead now, 56 seconds quicker than Michael Rees. And in the background, I think that was Wayne Bourget, the second of the newcomers, and that was also a newcomer, I think, and Martin Currams, it wasn't the Manx Grand Prix bike, Martin Currams through here. Daniel Ingham, the second of the ultras, a little bit quicker than Sarah Boys. Daniel Ingham, 66, is through, as is 72 Leon Murphy. And in the background, that is a Junior Classic bike, number 20, Richard Wilson, the fastest of that class. Only two through, Richard Wilson and Ewan Hamilton, and Wilson the quickest of the pair. Roger Wibley now number 21, that's Manx Grand Prix lightweight. Roger Wibley number 21, he is through at Balaf, as is now number 9 David McConaughey. So those leaders on the road starting to stream their way towards Ramsey, and Roy Moore will be picking them up very, very shortly. Veronica Hankachova now through Balaf, as is Paul Wardell. The field starts to stream through Balaf, but not quite managing to stream through Glen Helen yet, although two more now into the left-hander, 85-18, another two behind them, 27 is Nathan Chavez, and the back of that is 6 Derek Shields on the Junior Classic bike. I think Shelley Pike was in amongst that group, and that will just about run us out of time, and we'll hand back to you at the grandstand.
Thank you very much, Dave Christian. Number 36, Ray Maloney, has retired at Windy Corner, and Kenneth Koronov has retired at Mayhill Cruikshanks Corner. Are the latest retirements that we have up on the board. Arnie Shelton, the most recent across the line at 101.34 miles per hour. Royce Rowe on his Ducati at 111.82. And number 27, Jack Fowler, at 107.89. I'm just going to have a look, see, we've got about 58 bikes out there on the TT course at the moment, but there will be a little concern to getting a few guys back. Chris Boyd, bring you in here. I know the system's having to cope with about 6 classes in a practice session. It's designed as a race system, so have you got anything stat-wise?
Yeah, no, Francesco Coringa, we're watching his lap out there on the Super Twin. He was into Glen Helen on the standing start lap in 5 minutes and 3. He's there in 4:53 this time, fully 10 seconds faster. That puts him on a Glen Helen to Glen Helen of 113.4, so that one is worth watching. We'll track Francesco around this lap. He's not made Balaf just yet. He's on the way there.
Just looking down below, they are being short-lapped now. The being turned into Parc Ferme, and you can see the start line street furniture beginning to appear. The Festival of Motorcycling barriers are there, and also the little board that they read, the digital board for course conditions just before they set off. But let's head to Roy Moore at Ramsey Hairpin.
Yeah, number 12 just gone through on the lightweight machine, so they are still setting the pace there out in front, and that was David Quine, as I think he was on the first lap. And then the second machine that went through there on that particular occasion, I think, was number 10. This is number 19 who is with us here now as they go through, and it's Jamie Edwards who was safely through doing the 2 laps and taking advantage of the conditions to get everything sorted out. So it appears to be a little bit quiet on the rest part of the circuit, but certainly 2 machines through here at Ramsey. Not many of the junior classic TT actually made it to Ramsey. There was a few later on going through, but certainly on that first lap, it appeared as though all the 650s had made it here well ahead of schedule on the fact that they were starting after, majority of the times after the junior classic TT. But there's a few of them got laps in, and the sounds were there, and we've got a few bits and pieces. And when you were talking about the loss of Rod Coleman, Fumio Ito-san, he was another sad loss too. And I think one of the obituaries that might have been in Classic Racer showed him at Ramsey Hairpin on the little 50cc Suzuki. He rode at number 8 on that particular one. He was a TT winner, and only the only Japanese TT winner, but Suzuki made a big contribution through the factory to TT racing with Suzuki. Another machine interview now. This is on the orange plate as well, and it is number 21 who's with us here now. 21 goes through, Roger Wiberley, and then it is number 9, the next to go through, and number 9 we can tell you is David McConaughey, who is safely through Ramsey on what we're saying will be his second and flying lap. He is one of the patterns into Ramsey, and it's a higher number, it's 32, so we can tell you that 32, well, I think we can, but it's going to stop here at Ramsey, is it? No, he's got himself sorted out. Number 32, let's just get that one sorted out as to
who it was. A little bit wide coming in. It was Veronica Hankakova, actually, and certainly just went a little bit wide there. There's a kind of a gravelly area just off where the dog walkers park their cars to go to the various vantage points around here for dog walking, but just a little bit wide, but got it sorted out. Big machine to kind of at a slow pace. 29 is here with us now, and that again is on the lightweight class. And I think that is Mike Minns that is successfully through. Yeah, going back to Fumio Aito, I think he won the 50cc going back many years, but was part of the kind of development of the 125 and the 50 and the 250cc Suzuki's in the early days, the early 60s, when they got Ernst Stegner to come to the factory and give them all the information that he'd learned from Walter Crowden there at MZ. He is number 44. 44 is through, and that is number 44 is Garth Woods. So we know for a fact that on his position on the road that he is going through for that second lap. So safely through as well, and we'll be recording times. Yes, it was all up at Fernley that all that plan was hatched up there at Palace Road, where Suzuki came to the island and garaged in the old garages which were down by the Falcon Cliff Hotel, which was the scene of much activity during TT week, as was the Douglas Bay Hotel when the works teams came over. And certainly with the kind of German connection there, they recruited Ernst Stegner to do it, and then I think they smuggled his wife out at a later stage, and the family were reunited, but he gave all their contribution to get Suzuki onto the world map. As number 22 comes in now, and that is on the red plate, and I think it should be orange really, but certainly number 22, we can tell you. Well, it must be an additional one on that one because we haven't got the 22 on the program, and our computer is not telling us who it is. With all the different colours and numbers out there, it's still Dominic Herbertson who's fastest through Balaf Bridge. Is 13 is here with us. No qualms on riding. Francesco Caringa again on the beautiful sounding pattern, safely through and completing, or on the way to completing his second lap. So it's been quite eventful, really, and certainly that was the case when the green flag went out. But again, Pat O'Hanlon came to the rescue and said it indicates that possibly that the course is clear. I think that was Sarah Boys that went through. She'll be delighted to find out that she's had an 98 miles per hour lap, and certainly going up from 93 on the earlier efforts, and didn't even go out the other night because of the conditions, but certainly making up for it today. Get 2 laps in today, and certainly with one at 98, it should put the qualification for next week's, because they will have more opportunities. Sweeping out of Stella Maris. Quick approach here by this particular rider. It's number 60. Very neat. That's one of the 400s, so that's in the ultra lightweight class. 24 is in there. Number 60 on the ultra lightweight class is Stephen Parsons. So that's not a big thing really when you think that Stephen Parsons, the speed he's going, certainly he's got the Kramer GP2 there as well, but a very, very quick approach, and certainly caught your attention as they went through. And as always, you missed the other 2 numbers that went through as well at the same time, but there's 2 together. Let's just shout the numbers out on this occasion. It's 20 on the blue plate, so that's one of the junior classic riders, and that is Richard Wilson, and he was followed by the next number on that one is 51. Bit of front end patter there on the lightweight class as he came through, and that one we missed was number 72, and I think that 72 will be going back to the old lightweight class again, and 72 would have been Liam Murphy, who was safely through. The last number to go through there, my Patmatic thing there, was number 18, and I think 18 was on the orange coloured plate, so 18 on that would then link with the name of Mark Colvin. So he's gone through on his second lap, a flying lap. Another machine interview, very highly placed, but it's a newcomer, and it's number 20 in the newcomers class, and we haven't got the newcomers class out as yet, but we get Pat O'Hanlon as efficient as ever, throwing the fact over that it is number 20, Mark Kirby. And there's number 6 on the junior classic, number 6 going through, Derek Shields on the 350 Honda, followed by another 400 Honda, so that'll be in the newcomers class or the lightweight. But for the moment, from Ramsey Hairpin, back to the grandstand.